Hello and good morning. So, okay, let's go ahead and get this thing started here. Actually, didn't realize that I'd accidentally already hit start on this thing. So today I wanted to do something a little bit different. Basically, wanted to discuss something that had come up yesterday. Uh, namely, yesterday there was an announcement that FromSoft had actually made. Basically saying if there was enough interest in a remake of any games that they made before, they'd go ahead and do it. So I mean, apparently that's out there. And specifically, they wanted to team up with Devolver for that, which I mean, they seem to be pretty dang nifty at doing this kind of thing. So yeah, we'll be doing two things today. So first of all, we'll be going over the latest team of Javelin's AIs. So he actually made it looked like 10 or so teams for Formula Front. So those are pretty newish. I meant to do them last week or so, but that was just not a realistic possibility. And then yeah, I just saw the announcement yesterday that they're considering doing those remakes. So I was like, okay, sure, let's do this thing. Now, bear in mind this is on a new setup, so A, it's going to look prettier than it did before by miles, and second of all, when it comes to like all the AIs and files and stuff, I don't have all the ones I did before, but I do have the contestants from the 200 AC tournament. So those are going to be the ones I'm going with here. I'll go like if needed, like if these are actually what I've heard, then we'll probably be going ahead and making a custom team and everything else. But for the time being, we're gonna go with Team Gatecrasher over here and see how they do. Let's see. He's got 7 teams, so I'll pick 7 teams. So let's say we'll probably just go with these as we go. We'll see if we can at least get better than 1-to-1 going on here. So he's made them invisible, so I don't know what they are. So we'll go ahead and do this thing. Now, hopefully the audio's alright. Typically, it tends to get pretty jacked up every now and then. Let me double check to make sure that my cursor isn't showing up. Yeah, there we go. It's all good. So we've got Hook from Silent Line fighting whatever this thing is. We're going to go ahead and call him Stealth Cow. They don't have names. They don't have anything. Let's see if I can still remember the controls here. So yeah, the Hook didn't do too well in the tournament. Here, let me go ahead and turn down the volume a little bit. Just in general, the audio might be a little bit jacked up. Hang on, let's see here. There we are. That's looking a bit more like it. Yeah, this game tends to be pretty loud. So yeah, we'll be going over Javelin's AIs here. So far, seem to be doing pretty well against this thing. He's over on the bottom right here. Let's see, what are we running here? It looks like he's going grenade launcher and bazooka, but doesn't seem to be too good in terms of accuracy. Thankfully, he's staying mostly to the ground, so he's taking a good number of these hits here. Not seeing any overheat going on, but then again, the Hook is doing pretty well at the same time. Looks like he's going in with the rockets now, so he's basically going to be incompetent for a good few minutes here. Is he going to get the large off? Looks... Okay, no, it's going to hit the ground, but, might still have a possibility here. Oh, wow. He's just completely screwing up all these. Yeah, the mid-rockets for the AI don't always work out. Sometimes they do. It's just funny. Like, if there's a really evasive AI, they'll do absolutely fantastic with those rockets. If there's one that's just kind of casually running around, then they just won't be able to hit it whatsoever. It's kind of amazing, actually. I'm not sure what his plan here is exactly. I guess he was going to go for a point-blank nuke. It's not a bad idea. It's just not a very good idea either. Yeah, there we go. That's more like it. Get that MG out there. So, okay, so Hook dies to the very first one. View replay? Nah, no thanks. What's funny is I went and I tested one of these random AIs against a Dew of all people. And yeah, he actually almost won. So you never know. So yeah, we're just going to go for a few randos here. Let's see how the Soda Baskets does. This is one of the few non-community, or rather non-series ACs. So he just wanted to see all of these beaten. He wanted to see the starch diet remade in this at some point. So we'll probably do that at some point as well. So let's see. I needed to go back to that same team. That's why I backed out of there. So what was I using? I think I was using Team Gatecrasher. Yeah, here it is. So who's next on here? We got the PK. I can't imagine this will do too good against a grenade spammer, but we'll see how that goes. Again, we're going to try to vaguely follow the rules of the actual game here. Unfortunately, we can't do the full AI rules. Like, if there was some way, if the Japanese side folks could figure out a way to actually make the PSP version use its online mode while offline, man, that would absolutely just change the game as far as Formula Front goes. So yeah, for anyone who didn't know, when it comes to Formula Front, originally it wasn't supposed to work like this. It was supposed to be like they do the Japanese side tournaments, but that's only on the PS2 version. Basically, what that entails is it's a 5v5 with none of a particular team having any shared parts. Basically, after a fight's done, the winner carries on to the next fight. They get 10% of their AP back, and I think it's 10% of their ammo back. And then they just carry on. So they get worn down. So it's just basically this battle of attrition between 5 ACs. Or between 10 ACs, rather. It's 5 for each side. Alright, so he's avoiding most of the shots, but unfortunately this guy doesn't really have the means to really finish this, I don't think, anyway. It's possible. I mean, this first one is pretty light armor. I can't really say it's exactly wrecking the meta or anything. I mean, we are using story ACs here. But such is life. Oh, it's that one song where he wants to talk about speed for you. Okay. Always cracks me up. It's just funny how that goes. It's such a weird way that they decided to do the music. So he also got relatively close-ish. It's mostly because he didn't want to get into close range. Retry? Nah, we'll go for another team member here. In fact, why the hell am I going for that team of all of them? I think I literally just wanted to use Hook, and that was it. Who's actually a good team that I should probably be going with here? I think 4-1. They're the ones with Etsum Nar, right? Yes. So yeah, we'll go ahead and go with 4-1 for the actual challenge team then. So we've got Etsum Nar, we've got the Patriot from AC3, Etsum from Ninebreaker, the Fascinator FF from, technically from Last Raven. It's one of these cases where it's kind of two different things. It's kind of a mix between Ultimate Zenata and Standard Zenata. We've got Flag from AC3, and we've got Delta from AC3. So that'll be our team right there. And I'm pretty sure Etsum can beat this thing, so we'll go ahead and go for that. And there we go. Let's do this thing. Hopefully the audio isn't terrible. Now, let's go for, I think, a bit more of an open map. Yeah, there we go. Let's go for an arena here. I like the arena maps. It just looks so pretty, you know? I mean, this game just feels like there could have been so much more, you know? They could have done so much more with it. And, again, that's what the Japanese side folks have been doing. But, again, getting the PS2 version running, let alone, you know, getting everything together, I'm pretty sure they're the only ones that are able to do it right now. That's VGRM, I believe it was, or VGFF or something like that. They've changed their names a couple times. So yeah, there we go. Pretty solid win there for Etsum. So let's see if Etsum can potentially beat all of them out. View replay? Nah, we need no replays over here. We know Etsum's gonna win this. A little bit annoying to have to go through this every time, but oh well, right? In fact, let's go ahead and save it right there. Drop a little bit of a quick save. That way we can just go ahead and reload this. So we can just reload that one instead of going through one by one. Alright, goes for the second one. Let's go for, yeah, let's go for a big old open field. Let's see what we run into. Nope, nope. I accidentally hit manual. Why is that even a function in this game? The manual does not work whatsoever. So yeah, going for that field. Yeah, anybody that's ever tried to play manual in this probably knows what I'm talking about. It's funny because I think I think when Mr. Javelin was saying to beat these, he wanted them to be done like manual mode with rocket only in this. Here's the thing, you can't really aim, as in like the game takes the L controls away from you, so you can't actually manually aim rockets. It's part of the reason why the AI is occasionally good with them, occasionally really garbage with them. Because it automatically just like locks your view to whatever you're looking at, so there wouldn't really be a way to do prediction snipes or anything. There's probably a way to pull it off, and I guess if there's demand, I would do that. But anyway, so I wanted to discuss the whole remake thing because that's something that's been kind of teased for a while now. As in, they've been mentioning over and over, like, oh yeah, we'll do something. We've been working on something for our older series. We just can't tell you what. And then they put the AC soundtrack out there. They put the AC theme out there, and then nothing. And then they're just like, we're totally doing something, possibly maybe related to Armored Core, but we can't tell you yet. It'll be ready exactly whenever. We don't know. So that was years ago now. So yeah, no news there. As in they've confirmed it wasn't the Metal Wolf thing. They've confirmed it wasn't the Souls thing. They just keep going back and forth with it, and I don't get why they need to tease it so hard. It's like the community's been teased with this stuff for so long. And yeah, there we go. The Proto Exus kills off Javelin 2. Let's see if we can go ahead and just beat all of them. I mean, she was the champ for a reason. Alright, let's go for Javelin 3. This one looks like it's probably going to be a heavy, going for extreme cooling. Let's go ahead and go for the Highlands and get this thing going. In fact, if I save it right there, I should just be able to switch between the team members. There we are. But yeah, so I've been, like, personally, my hope, as far as a remake is concerned, it stems largely from having played Verdict Day. Now, as much as I hated the visuals of Verdict Day, I love the mechanics in place. Specifically, hardcore mode. It's something I've been, like, it's basically, if you take a lot of the challenges that that you typically have seen folks doing for the series and everything else, and just an attempt to implement a sort of extra layer on top of that. So, for example, my personal favorite one was one called Gambler Mode, where it's like you do 10 times damage, enemies do 5 times damage, and then you have 1 life to beat the entire game. So it's just, you had a certain amount of lives with a certain amount of parameters, like basically it would give you certain multipliers on, for example, your store unlocks, which are, basically it's your rating. Your rating, how well you do on missions, as well as how many extra objectives you get, will determine how many parts are available to you. So there we go, there's another one bites the dust. And yeah, so it would basically just continue on like that. Like, they just had a whole bunch of different modes. Like, there was one really interesting one, I think it was called Money's Everything or something like that, in which you are, actually it might have been one shot, one kill, in which you basically had, I think it was 10 times ammunition costs, and then I think like 5 times damage, and then 3 lives to beat the game. And the idea was that you had to try and take as few shots as possible throughout the entire game. Or there was another one where you would functionally be unable to use the store, so you'd have to use only scavenged equipment. Like, it was a really fun thing. You would basically always just use the parts that you found laying around, and those weird variants that you found, and I loved it. I absolutely loved that mode, and I was wishing that if they ever did a remake, like, if they, like, let's say, like, dream project here, right? They take all of the levels and everything else from, like, all the generations. They use the 3rd gen system, because let's be honest, it was the most refined, they got the most stuff done, and they'd be able to kind of simplify it in terms of, they're just remaking everything in 3rd gen. They already started somewhat doing that in Nexus. So, let's say, something like that, right? Yeah, let's go ahead and give that a retry, see if they can win it. So yeah, something like that. Except they remake 1st gen, they remake 2nd gen, they remake 3rd gen. Whatever, system they decide to go with. They add in that hardcore mode. They add in, like, this would be a retarded amount of content, to be honest. Like, I'd be okay with just 3rd gen, personally. It was always my favorite. The one thing I've always wanted from 3rd gen, though, is the ability to tweak some of the stuff in there. Like, for example, I would have loved to see the part break system, but then be able to, like, tweak the amount of damages that everything's taking or doing or whatever else. Like, say, like, early 3rd gen heat system, right? Where everything's kind of okay, but then you're taking hard damage to each of your limbs as stuff goes on. And I guess it would depend on whether or not they manage to actually fix a lot of the problems with that system there. Yeah, there we go. See, she's got it. She's got this. Almost. Come on, don't get hit. Oh, it's so close. Okay, let's try that again. She can win this. I mean, again, she won the tournament for a reason. But yeah, the tournament completely explicitly banned all meta builds. But yeah, so that'd be my dream project, like my dream right there, just to see third gen, or at least most of it, remade. I mean, you got to see the majority, the majority of the cool parts from first gen in there. You didn't see a lot of the map design. Like I definitely say Last Raven had some of the weakest map design in the series, but Nexus did a pretty fantastic job as far as remaking a lot of the older games. I think AC2 would probably carry over pretty well. They might need to bring in some of the parts from it in order to make it work. Oh wow, she got wrecked that time. Alright, let's try one of the others then. So we know we got a bazooka build here. So let's see, what can we do with the bazooka meta here? I mean, you got one bazooka, you need a bigger bazooka, I'd figure. Flag would definitely not be the answer here, because they're moving around pretty strongly. Kind of wonder how Zenaida would do. Probably awful. She didn't last very long for a reason. But yeah. So personally, you know, that's what I'd love to see. Like, for example, with that like 5 to 10 times damage mode or whatever else, it added this weird like cover shooter aspect to the game, which worked better than you'd think. Like, especially the fact that they had disposable shields in 5th gen. It had this awesome feeling like, oh man, your shield's broken. That was your one extra, you know? But then even then, you'd still have those shots later on in the game where a boss would just shoot straight through 2 shields. Like, the build that I typically ran for attempting that mode was 2 shields and 2 Gatling guns. Because even, like, plink damage was enough to shred almost everything. Just kind of sit there at the farthest possible range with those things and just, like, rain down shots on stuff. It was cheap, but it was fun, you know? Okay, Zenaida might actually just be fast enough to pull this off here. She's doing alright so far. Problem is those bazookas, man. Those bazookas are absolutely busted. So, Buster was actually talking about doing a bit of a tournament here. Doing another one, hopefully balanced and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I hope he bans bazookas. It's not that they're inherently broken by their stats, it's just the fact that the AI doesn't know how to evade them. Again, it's like they had everything properly balanced from Nexus and LR for the most part. The only thing is just that the AI doesn't know how to evade. Like, there's no reason, for example, for that build right there to be even remotely viable. Like, if there was I would say if there's a player piloting it and then attempt to do it. But you know why I don't do that? Here, let me show you. Because it doesn't quite work. Let's see, what's something I'm actually gonna be able to make some use of here? Oh man, we're getting into the weird part of the soundtrack now. All right, let's see. All right, tanks are probably a lot easier to use here. So let's go for manual, right? Just to kind of show you how this works. Whoops. Fast forward a little bit. See if I remember the awkward controls. So the thing is, yeah, first of all, the AI can automatically fire. Second of all, there's massive input lag as far as everything goes. So I don't really have an overlay to kind of show you that there's that input lag, but it's actually even mentioned in the first email that you see, wherein like you're basically told like, yeah, just never use manual mode. It sucks. It's terrible. It's just real bad, and I'm trying to use the wrong control scheme here. There we go. Yeah, this guy, Iron is basically broken. This is another one of those metas that should be banned. Like I was saying for that one, you just need to ban heavy legs almost outright in order to make it work for this game. But there we go. Kind of pushed that weapon switch ages ago, but alright. But now if I set that same fight to be done by an AI, that's going to be a completely different story, because they can actually do all that stuff in real time. Is it a weird way that they did it? Of course, but the gimmick of this game is supposed to be AI. Like that's its deal, which I can understand. Like it's a fun gimmick. I'll give it that. I wish that they just included more maps. There were a ton of cut maps, which worked perfectly fine. So I don't know why they cut them. I mean, the stuff that the Japanese folks have been able to do, and I say the Japanese folks, not like, oh man, all of Japan did the robots. No, I mean like there's a Japanese side Formula Front scene, and they've been doing wonders with Ken's tournaments they've done, and they've actually shared some of their cheats. I haven't been able to get those back into this version here, but yeah, you can see here how much better the AI is doing, because they can even fire faster than they technically should be able to fire. They automatically get better cooling, they automatically get better tracking. It's just that's the gimmick. That's the gimmick of this game, and you can't aim properly, and which is kind of unfortunate because the camera will automatically fire or automatically follow whatever's on screen there, so you don't get camera controls. But oh well. Okay. So there we go, that is that one done, and let's go ahead and go for number 5 here. A little bit surprised no one has showed up, but oh well. I guarantee you if I go over to the Discord right now, there'll be a million messages like, oh man, somebody did an at message, I did a funny, I'm mad at this. Which, that meme, it has gotten, yeah, there we go. There's already at messages. Oh. There we go. I'm actually surprised there aren't a bunch of messages, and it's okay, Mr. Cow. There's always a little bit of a delay when it comes to this stuff. But yeah, we're, well, I say we. I don't actually know how many folks are here because the little counter's broken. But attempting to kind of have a one-way discussion as far as Armored Core's remake is concerned, since they've indicated that if we make enough noise, they'll do it. Unfortunately, they didn't have that full "we do this" moment that Capcom loves to do, but it's everything but. Like they basically said, if there's interest in any of our games whatsoever, we'll do it. So personally, I plan to do more AC stuff in the near future, and I plan to do a run of Shadow Tower and try to advertise that a bit. Because man, I hope they remake Shadow Tower. That game is just it's so underrated. They've got so many really underrated things that it's like they get panned for the worst reasons. Like Shadow Tower, right? It gets panned over and over because like, oh man, you gotta trade health to repair your weapons. What a bad system. And it's like, okay, just play it for more than an hour. It makes sense. Like, you finally get to the point where it becomes this kind of weird survival horror aspect, where you're like, you have some abilities to get your health back and everything, but you've got like, you're constantly having to switch out weapons to make sure they're not taking damage. So for folks that love roguelikes, it's like, it's just, they're pretty much right at home there. Yeah, I think Etsum is gonna be able to beat almost all of these guys here. So, I mean, so far so good. There's only one that she's had trouble with, and even then she only lost with a 28 AP thing. So, you know, I'd say it's close enough there. Etsum too strong, you know, all that kind of thing. But yeah, so personally, I was saying, like, in terms of a Dream remake, since they're probably taking ideas here, but as far as a Dream remake, if they took the general 3rd gen system and just made it tweakable so that, like, let's say they remade all of 1st to 3rd, I know that's asking too much. Realistically, I would say if they remade a generation, it would probably be 3rd. Like, if they just took that, took all the systems of it, and then just allowed you to tweak what rules you could follow throughout the game, and added the hardcore mode for Verdict Day, that would be so amazing. Just like have a thing where just like, say enemies do 4 times damage, you do extra damage, and you gotta beat it on 1 life. Or like, let's say you add in part breaks and like limb breaks and everything else, or like you have a system where energy costs are doubled, but you've got double ammunition, or just there's so many potential amazing options there that could work really, really nice. So what kind of things would you guys want to see if there was a remake? I mean, I say if, but realistically, Armored Core is the one thing that's been requested more than everything else as far as I've seen. I know that historically they just don't pay any attention to the West, but if we make enough noise, they've already said that they've got an ear out, so it's an option. By the way, how's audio? Can anybody confirm or deny whether or not they can even hear anything? Because I don't know if it's been jacked up to this point. Alright, what's this one looking like? He's actually got a Silky? Or no, that's the one of the mini Sawas. Alright, so he's got that one. Looks like got basic missiles on the back with basic extensions. So this thing's kind of looking like a big white type situation. Like a diet big white. Something like that. But yeah, part of the issue is always getting the AC folks to actually talk for something that isn't a Gen War. No, I don't know why that's such a prevalent thing, but it's just all the dang time. People fight over nothing and then just never want to actually get along. Let's see, all classic armor cores with Gen 1 given PS2 graphics and easy multiplayer online playability. That'd be amazing. Like, I'd love to see the Gen 1 maps remade. The reason I was saying 3rd gen, if they took the 3rd gen system, then they have one solid system they can apply all rules to. So if they took that system and then, like, remade the maps from 1 and 2, and then just maybe brought in the parts that were missing along the way, how awesome would that be? It's like, how amazing would that crap be? I mean, that would be as far as I'm concerned, that's the dream game there. Like, I don't care if that crap's $100, I would find a way to get it. And by the way, I was asked earlier how this is running at 60 FPS. Long story short, this is on a new setup now. So yeah, there's no frame cap for this game. It can run as pretty as you'd like for the PSP games. And yeah, it's on the new setup here. It can actually not chug, so it's fantastic. This is 4 times the resolution as well. It definitely... okay, it's weird because at 4 times it kind of starts looking like 4 answer in a way. Once you bump it all the way up to like 20 times the resolution, it looks way prettier. But then it starts even looking even more stretched out. Say same as long as it hits all the classics in one game. Yeah, that'd be amazing. My only worry would be that they would have that they would have a hard time redoing some of the maps from AC2. But like Gen 1 for sure. Like Gen 1 they've already partially remade for Nexus, so they're already partway there. They have the assets. They already have everything in place, so it would just be basically a Lego set as far as I figure there. There we go. Yeah, the Proto Exus is just so good. This one's running all C ranks, interestingly enough. Alright, let's go ahead and go for the Reservoir. It's not actually a reservoir, but whatever, we'll go with it. It is whatever it is. But yeah, if they could add online multiplayer with all that, like, could you imagine if they had a thing where it's just like, okay, what game's rules and balance would you like to follow? Like part breaks or limb breaks, yes or no? Just like, would you like to have an AI mode? Like, how awesome would that be? It's like you have somebody that's that exclusively goes in with AI builds or something, but then you know, like let's say you have somebody that's following the AC1 rule set, so suddenly their Moonlight's 4 times as strong and takes no energy. Oh man, it's a dream. It's a dream. I know it's a dream, but still. All right, this guy has a god-awful rating, but man, they're doing pretty alright. So, nice missile setup. Looks like they've got Ogre on the arm. Left arm just switched, or is that... no, that's a Sylph, I believe. See, didn't MOA have AI Arena? Seen something about it? Yes. Yes, it did. And hello, Sigma Virus. So yeah, AC1, or rather, Master Arena did have an arena. Did have an AI Arena. It was pretty interesting how it was set up, because you could actually tweak some pretty weird settings. I know Royal did some stuff with it last year, before he went over to cop school. So yeah, that was pretty neat stuff. So I still think Etsum can win this one, so let's go ahead and put her on the ice stage here. Before we switch over to something else, her Javelin menu Formula Front ACs, yes. There are 7 teams by the looks of it. And so far, Etsum has been bowling through them. So it's been pretty nifty. He said to make a custom team, but I wanted to see if the story ACs could beat him first. Because I'll be honest, custom ACs, it's just going to be the Matrix Overdrive. Like, there's nothing the Matrix Overdrive can't beat. And I'm not saying that in terms of like, oh look, I made a big thing. Look at the thing. I mean in terms of the AI does not know how to deal with the stuff that thing has. That's all. That's all it is. That's all that makes something strong in this game. Like the AI doesn't know how to dodge it. Simple enough. Napalm rockets, AI's got no clue. Bazookas, AI's got no clue. Friggin' LX cannon, you know, just LX plus napalms. Just yeah. Gaudy beat it, yes, and it was basically the same idea though. It was basically the same overall build mentality of just like here's a bunch of stuff that the AI doesn't know how to deal with. All right, so the Proto X's can win it. I'm kind of curious to test some other stuff against this just for the hell of it, just for a little bit of a change of scenery. Like let's take the Count 1 here from AC2, see how he does. And yeah, I would do another FF tournament, but at the moment Buster's doing one, so maybe after he does one. But I do plan to do the whole blenderizer thing again, because that's been requested a few times recently, since it seems like AC is trying to do its thing again. Man, I hope that remake happens. It just needs to make noise. Just needs to make noise, just need to go post stuff, needs to try to get their attention somehow, so that they pay attention to the West for once. Like, it was depressing reading over some of the interviews when they were building 4th and 5th gen, because they're basically like, oh man, we keep looking at the Western market and we just don't get it. And they wanted stuff to be off fast, so we made it off fast. And then they tried to say that there wasn't enough cool stuff, so we added some cool stuff. And then they wanted brown shooters, so we made brown shooters. It's like, dude, pay attention to your community, not to the freaking market trends. What are you doing? But yeah, it's like I forget who had those interviews, but God, it was such a bummer to read. Such a dang bummer to read. Oh well. Actually, come to think of it, Mr. Cow, I think I have your Gaudy saved somewhere, so we might be able to test that against this as well. There we go. Finally nails one of those big rockets. Come on, big boy rockets. You can nail it. There it is. That was the shot, but he aimed a little too low. But there we go. So the Count 1 wins it. Good job, Mr. AC2AC. Alright, so that's his Team 2 dealt with. Now, let's go ahead and go for Team 3. I love that he made them all invisible. Gotta do that whole challenge thing. Speaking of custom ACs, I kind of just want to see how the Soda Baskets does. So if you weren't here for the tournament, the Soda Baskets is the state-of-the-art bath scaff type situation. Basically, it is a thing built exclusively around the Silky. Don't ask me why. I just felt like it. See, FromSoft will try to make a new type of gameplay. I feel just fine with the old gen style. They said that they'd be willing to do remakes of any game that they hear interest for. They've basically said they'll partner with Devolver or whoever else will do it for literally any game that they've ever done before. So basically, what that translates to is, please, oh please, everybody make noise about Armored Core. They might make a remake. So a remake in the same vein as Metal Wolf Chaos, presumably. So they likely will pick one style and then just like remake that. So it's very possible, given trends with other remakes, that they'll go ahead and probably go for something like I was saying earlier, the one that they had the most material for. So 3rd gen's the one that they made the most stuff for. They've got the most assets for it. They've got the most refinement for that system. So they take something like that, redo the graphic style, presumably, and then just basically... Oh, and before they remake Kingsfield or Tenchu, Tenchu, they kind of remade with Sekiro, so presumably not Tenchu. Kingsfield, possibly. They seem to love the hell out of Kingsfield. Those games are sweet. Hopefully they actually go with the US version of Kingsfield 1, because the original Kingsfield 1 was basically like, hey, would you like to bump your face into brown walls for a million years? But yeah, the Kingsfield 2, aka US Kingsfield 1, pretty dang awesome. Personally, I hope that they go for Armored Core or Shadow Tower, because again, Shadow Tower gets pretty unfairly panned a lot of the time, unfortunately. It's just, it never gets a chance to impress a lot of folks. It's like, in many ways, a lot of the stuff that they did wrong in DS2 had a better version when it came to Shadow Tower. Like, I feel like DS2 was meant to be a remake of Shadow Tower in some ways. Because, yes, your equipment does break relatively quickly, Honestly, I would argue almost at a realistic rate, because something that many of the reviews kept saying was like, "Oh man, you swing a thing like 50 times and it's broken." Yes, but you're also not fighting that many things, and also yes, weapons break when you swing them like 50 times. That's like they dull, they get chipped, they break. They're not as invincible as movies like to make them out to be. So yeah, that kept coming up over and over and over. But yeah, it's basically this whole system where you have very limited health, but then you trade health in order to repair your equipment, and then later on you trade items in order to get, like, let's say a healing item or a repair or whatever else. And each merchant that you run into has some different mechanic that they run off of, and you have a bunch of different areas that have different kinds of like locational stuff going on. And honestly, there was only one area that I didn't like, and even then, like, let me describe the situation with Kingsfield, right? Just to give you an idea of how awesome that game can be. There's this moment where, okay, I do a save in this area. I just broken a bunch of armor and got melted off by acid because I basically decided to wade through an acid pool, figuring it would help. Yes, it helped protect health, but the armor ended up getting worn down. So I switch over to more stuff with a better acid defense and start going through this whole area. And I started noticing that it's difficult to get anywhere because I don't have any acid protection items. I should mention that this is because I actually skipped ahead. There was an area when I went and looked back. There was apparently an entire area that I skipped. Like, I'm going through, get to this area with a bunch of water, like swim through all the water, get up to the top of a new area, all kinds of stuff in different directions. It's kind of this sort of Resident Evil type of vibe where you try to avoid enemies as much as possible. I've got all these crazy good weapons and everything else, but it's like, okay, want to try to avoid fights as much as possible. So I get around everything. Finally figure I'm at a safe spot. Get all my regen equipment out, get my health back, put on some decent armor and everything else, and figure, okay, we'll try to explore this new area a little bit. And then suddenly get to the end of this lonely hallway, and there's just this little imp guy with a violin just sitting there on top of a stool, and just suddenly health starts draining down because this guy apparently kills you through music, which apparently also attracts other enemies around. I ended up dying at that point, but it was just, that moment was one of the best, like, yeah, we got you moments that I think I've seen in one of their games. Like, it felt cheap at the time. Well, actually, I guess arguably it didn't really feel cheap. It was more like it felt like, they definitely got me, that was for sure. But yeah, no, it's honestly, it's a game that never usually gets a chance to actually show its good sides. It had some of the cooler enemy design. It had some really, really good map design. Like, it's telling that with that game, despite the fact that I'm like 20 hours into it, despite the fact that the entire thing is one massive maze that circles in on itself, even Dark Souls 1, I had to have moments where I had to go look up where the hell to go, because at some point, there just wasn't information on where to go. In Shadow Tower, up to this point, even though I still haven't beaten it, because, I kind of got stuck on a little bit there, and then I lost my save file, and then I got back to the same part, I've yet to ever need an actual guide to know where to go. Just like, you just explore and game happens. That's how it goes. It's just set up in such a perfect way that there isn't even really dialogue for the most part. You just go and stuff happens and you find new things and you figure it out. Even, like, for example, there was a thing where there was specifically one key that had to be used on one pillar. It still kind of worked. What about Lost Kingdoms? I've heard little of that game. Same here. I actually can't remember which one that is, weirdly enough. And I love the soda baskets. It deliberately makes use of the arguably worst weapons of the game to be pretty reasonably effective. Like, nobody ever uses these back pods. Nobody ever uses these. It uses the Silky or the Dragon, and yet here they are wrecking stuff. It just works so well. It's on the GameCube, apparently. Yeah, I have zero idea what that one is, to be honest. All right, that one looked like a pretty standard MG build. Alright, let's go for AC4 then, and see how this one does. But yeah, definitely not sure. I mean, they've got a lot of stuff out there that's a little bit unheard of. Let's see, play someone as a card game. Let me look it up. Yeah, there's some pretty good unknown RPGs out there. Like, personally, one of my favorites that I've always been meaning to go back to is this old game called Threads of Fate that used to be kind of a for some reason, it was a big deal at this Target near my house when I was growing up, even though it was selling for like $10. And yeah, it was a surprisingly interesting like RPG platformer type thing. So yeah, FromSoft. There we go. I wonder if this is gonna be one of their super weird ones. Like, I hope of all the things they remake that they don't remake it. What the hell was it? One of their PS2 ones that keeps getting praised as something amazing, but has a story that makes zero sense. Let's see. I mean, this looks like one of their trippy RPGs for sure. Weirdly enough, I don't think this one's even going to get any marketing, because it looks like there's a Mario level under the same name that actually gets more results than this game. See, those back pods are good. Yeah, they are good, but they generally get considered to be garbage. That's the funny part. They so regularly get completely written off, and they can be really, really strong. But yeah, Lost Kingdom. I kid you not. There's more Mario results than there are, and some mobile game under the same name, than there actually are for this game. That's something else. But yeah, I like thinking mechanically. If they were to take 3rd gen and remake 1st and 2nd gen, as far as stuff that would be missing, like presumably they would, like if they go to 1st gen, there would be the option of maybe including extensions or something like that. I wonder if they'd actually go through the trouble of remaking all the ACs. Like, for example, you didn't have extensions, you didn't have your inside parts, but I wonder if they would actually go through the trouble of including those parts if you wanted to use them for those generations. Because presumably, it wouldn't be too difficult of a thing. I mean, the game is basically Legos, so yeah. Not sure. Not sure. But yeah, I think the Soda Baskets has been on a just utter rampage here, and I think that was actually the last one, wasn't it? Yeah. Alright, so that is Team 2 done. There's nothing in Teams 1 or 2 that Soda Baskets wouldn't have been able to handle. So he is the current champion. Alright, let's go for number 1 here, and let's pick a new map. If you're wondering why I haven't set it to random, it's because random decides its role the moment you enter this menu, so it wouldn't re-roll a new map, it would just keep picking the same one, so I might as well manually pick them. I think it was Eternal Ring that I'm thinking of. That was one of those PS2 launch titles that was just bizarre. Like, I kid you not, the story in that thing, it tried to be somewhat like Kingsfield, I guess, but it was one of their super weird experimental RPGs that never made any sense whatsoever. As in, it sets up like friggin' 10 plot lines immediately and never even attempts to resolve any of them. It's just not even close in terms of how much it doesn't resolve. They never explain anything. I like recently I watched a blind playthrough of it by one of the top Dark Souls challenge runners, because he's been going through their entire catalog just to kind of rate stuff. And oh my god, it was hilarious. Just like the entire thing was just a raised eyebrow. Just like, what the actual crap is going on in this game? There was a really good one. There was another one with Ring in the title that, like, bizarrely just randomly ends on this demonic super baby. So he made so many games that aren't well known and surprising. Yeah, especially their PS2 RPGs. Oh my god, those things are so weird. They're just so bizarre. It's a trip. It's a trip for sure. Like, just look up Lobos Jr. He's the guy that's been going through the entire catalog of them. It's a trip to watch those. It's a definite trip. Like, it's basically been an exploration into their mechanics and everything else. Right, yeah, this guy's just a bazooka spammer. I don't know why the Soda Baskets doesn't want to get close range this one time. It feels like I should just plop him on a closer map, because he's just staying far away and getting repeatedly pooped on here. But yeah. Like, even, I think AC is probably one of their more sane series, which is just weird to think about. By the way, how's audio been? Does this audio still work for everybody? Good, bad, yes, no? Would be good to confirm that information before we get into more of these. It's fine? Okay. That's good to hear. It's okay. Let's see. Let's just pull up their full list here. Like, who here's played Shadow Towers? Or Shadow Tower, rather. The first one, specifically. Hello there, Mr. Vale. How's your day going? So far, so decent. Yeah, let's pull up the wiki here, see what we can find. So yeah, today we're discussing the possibility of Armored Core getting potentially remade, because they basically put out an announcement yesterday that said, hey, any games that there's interest in, we'll go ahead and do. See, the only old game I played from them is Armored Core. Yeah, man, Shadow Tower. So, here's the thing. With Shadow Tower, it even uses the AC-1 grenade launcher, believe it or not. It's on the same engine. That's what kind of blew me away about it, because one of the early rings you could get is this fireball ring for making a deal with this like succubus chick, whatever. And you basically just it's like, okay, I'll release the super demon to get a grenade launcher, sure. So I figure, you know, whatever. It's a Dark Souls kind of situation. I figure maybe they'll come back later. It turns out they're just a mini boss later, and you can just completely raffle stomp them. But yeah, even 15 shots, just like the tank grenade launcher, it's 15 shots. Which is great. Finished breakfast, just about to edit. Just checking in, seeing how the robot fighting's going. So far, so alright. We finally ran into one thing that's actually leaning on the meta so hard the soda baskets might not be able to handle it. So, let's see. You know what, let's go ahead and see if we can shove What's-Her-Face in here. Let's add... let's put Etzum in on this. Because she's the one she's the champ. She's the old champ that won everything. I think she might be able to do this, because she's fighting enough. Super fighting robots! Exactly. Exactly. Alright, let's see here. So yeah, Kingsfield 1 to 3, pretty, you know, pretty samey type stuff, but I gotta say, absolutely excellent map design. Kingsfield 1 was a little bit weird with how it handled keys, because you basically had to, you got one key, and then you had to repeatedly go and copy those keys in order to make sure you had enough keys for all the doors. It's an interesting approach, just not entirely sure about it. Anyway, yeah, this guy, what is going on here? Why does nobody want to get into close range with this guy? Get close, you doofuses! How many Kingsfield have they made? 5, I believe, depending on how you want to count it. They made 4 named ones, but then arguably another one. The weird part is, they had some other version of Kingsfield, which I think got released as, or it might have never gotten released. There was technically the very first Kingsfield. We got the original second one as Kingsfield 1. But yeah, there's 4 numbered ones, with Lost City in particular being amazingly difficult to get a hold of. That's number 4. It was an absolutely fantastic game, had a whole lot of stuff going on for it. Fantastic, like, first-person puzzle survival kind of situation. But oh my goodness, were they hard to get a hold of. Who do we want here? Let's go for a Wasted Lead. Hello, Wasted Lead. Stick the old iron on here. Wait. Oops. I screwed that up. That's not the one that I was supposed to be messing with. Alright, that's the correct one. Let's go ahead and load this one up. But yeah, if they somehow included mechanics from this game and made it work for, made it, like, so let's say you were in first gen and you could potentially make an AI that could go through the entire game. Yeah, that'd be nuts. Hopefully they would improve the AI system, though. Like, honestly, if they remade all of them and they left out Formula Front, I wouldn't be surprised. But it would be so cool. Like, if you could get silent line AIs, like, do the whole proper training it like a baby type situation, but then you could make entire teams out of it for Formula Front. Ah, that'd be so cool! Oh, hey, look, somebody actually bothers to be close range. The one guy that's specialized for long range, but whatever. Fine, fair enough. He's using the rain bazooka here, which apparently decides that it doesn't want to have any spread, but only for him. But yeah, arguably as far as Kingsfield type games go, Shadow Tower and Shadow Tower 2 were very close. Again, personally, I prefer the Shadow Tower system, but yeah, they all had very different mechanics. So you would like AC1 or 2 remastered, but wouldn't want the other games to be ignored. Like, again, the main reason I think that they would probably base it off 3rd gen is just because they've already started remaking 1st gen and 2nd gen in Nexus. So they already have some of the bigger fights and especially bosses remade. So it makes sense to just remake all of them in one fell sweep using the 3rd gen system. Honestly, like, if they updated the visuals a little bit, that's all they would really need to do. The engine's fine. It holds up just, you know, perfectly fine. They already have the numbers in place. They already have the parts in place. there's no reason for them to do more work than they need to. So let's see. Yeah, go figure. Go figure if they ignore everything and then remake Adventures of Cookie and Cream. Now that would be that'd be the one from left field for sure. Alright, let's go for this one here. Kind of wish these had names. I miss when his AIs had names. I meant to remake all of Javelin's AIs and have them fight each other, but it's been a really busy last year. I'll say that much. I've not really had the time to be remaking AI teams or anything like that. I think that's the only reason I haven't done this stuff. It's like it somehow takes less time to restart an entire campaign in X Division than it takes to go through this. Okay, so this guy's just gonna be kiting by the looks of it. So definitely need a long ranger for this. Man, yeah, Lost Kingdoms is just stuck here in the middle of this list. I mean, as far as other ones go here, like, let's see, Atogi I've never heard of. Shadow Tower Abyss, I mean, I've heard really good things about it. Let's see. Yoshitsune Idulin, no friggin' idea what that is, but there was another one on here. There was another one on here that basically got folded into Dark Souls at some point. That's kind of where they had their spell system from. Yeah, likes to get stuck on walls? Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, that's just going to be any AI in this game. The AI is dumb as hell. That's the thing. Sometimes you get fights in which literally nothing happens. Although this does occasionally lead to absolutely magical moments. Like, Sigma, I don't know if you were here for the 200 AC tournament last year, but there was this amazing moment where Adieu, of all units, do you remember Adieu? He was the first opponent from AC3 in the arena. Oh man, look at that comeback. God, Soda Baskets just does so much damage. Okay, so there we go. That's that one done. So let's go ahead and go for number 3 here. But yeah, Adieu, of all units. It's why on my YouTube thing I have a playlist that's Adieu's Legendary Journey. Because that guy made it to the finals. I remade, like, the strongest ACs from the entire story of Armored Core. From every generation. And then I added some community ones in there. Frickin' Adieu makes it to the finals. Because nobody can hit him because he sucks so hard. He even, like, at Samnar, the one that won, he fought her to a standstill. As in she missed almost every one of her shots. And then, like, halfway through the fight, or not halfway through, like 80% of the way through the fight, they both stop. They sit on a beam, and they stare at each other for a solid 3 seconds. And then he, like, whips out his blade and cuts her, and then they both run. If that fight would have kept going, like if there was an option to turn off the timer to make them fight until one died, he would have won the tournament. He would have won the tournament. It's bizarre. He is hands down the worst AC in said tournament. He still would have won it. Like, let's just go ahead and see how he does here. That first AI that was beating everybody, I actually tested him against it. And, like, he literally is so slow and so crappy that stuff doesn't hit him. It's weird to see that happen. And yeah, he's using the PSP Remake color scheme, I believe. In one of them, he shows up as white. The other one, he shows up as silver. But here we go. We'll go for this one. Just get a change of scenery going. And I'm gonna probably take a minute in a couple fights here just to make sure that all the kiddos are good on snacks and everyone's feeling okay. Make sure that no noses need to be wiped. Yeah, another one that I really, really would love, like, if they potentially skipped out on remaking Armored Core a little bit to make a PC version of Steel Battalion, I'd be kind of okay with that. Like, look at this. He is so slow that they can't track him. Stuff just does not hit this guy. This is the one that just beat Soda Baskets, who has been on a spree of, like, 10 wins or something like that. He's, you know, he's not winning anymore, but he's been winning most of this fight. Like, this is just what he does. He just doesn't get hit. He's just... he's a miracle is what he is. And then he runs out of shots and usually wins with a blade. That's even the best part. He wins with a frickin' starter blade. I love it. I love it. Not to mention his cooling and defense is so high that just anything shell-related he tanks to the face. He really is the Rocky of this universe. He just sits there and takes hits, and then hopefully the other one tires themselves out. No need for a backing weapon. Yeah, this is why I was gonna do a do run of 3rd gen. Because their starter AC runs. His AC literally takes the starter AC and is like, I wonder if I can make this suck worse. And so he does. So all it is starter blade and rifles. His, for all intents and purposes, is the is like a pistol and knife run from Resident Evil. If anybody's ever watched any of those, yeah, there he goes. You know, just going for that blade again. And that guy's out of shots now. So there's a realistic possibility he's going to beat this guy. There's a reason that Dio made it to the finals. Like, he is a miracle. He is a dang miracle. And he's not going to blade right there for some reason, but okay. Come on, cut him. Or not. You know, that's fine. Oh, he's charging. He still could do it. It's unlikely now, but for some reason he decided not to cut him a few times. Yeah, like right there, you know. His inbuilt missile defenses just shot down 4 missiles at once. Why not? Why not, right? That makes sense. Dude, what are you doing? He had no reason to lose that, is the funny part. Okay. Let's go ahead and go for... I'm just going to count it that he won it. Let's go ahead and go for another map here. Let's go for the snow, sure. Why not? Oh no, he's going for another one. We're doing this. He can win this. Believe in this bastard. He is just a miracle. He is just a straight up miracle. Yeah, let's see. What else do we got here? I mean, a lot of folks have been asking for a Demon Souls remake, so that'll probably happen. It's more than likely. They already shut down the servers, so presumably they were at least thinking about it. So yeah, very possible for a Demon Souls remake, just because, yeah, there's still a lot of community, there's a lot of folks that love that game, and let's be honest, they're going to be way more vocal. Yeah, I know. I have the same feeling. I adore the Souls games, but please, just chill with all the Souls games. I know you gotta strike while the iron's hot, but god dang, that iron has melted by this point. It's like, I mean, Sekiro was awesome. Don't get me wrong. Watching that was really fun. But yeah, it's getting way too much. So let's see here. I mean, we got the Hangman from AC5. Forget what his actual name was. It's been a little bit of a minute. Yeah, AC5, interesting attempt. Very good multiplayer. I will say AC5 had arguably some of the most fun multiplayer. I still think that goes to ACFA, just because I think it's just because those little moments of levity. I don't even know if levity is the right term. You just have those little moments of peace, you know? That in the middle of the fights, you could just look around and it's like, man, this is really pretty. Like, you could just hover there for a minute and it's like, man, that fight over there is just... That's just pretty to look at right now, you know? Like, just those moments were very, very common in that game. See, people would have said the same for the AC series. I've been into these games for just a couple of years. There's a lot of hate. The thing is, it's the Gen Wars. It's what's torn apart communities left and right over and over. It's very frustrating to watch. I'm actually a little bit surprised that you got in the last couple of years here. But yeah, right before that, there was this very, very frustrating few years there where let's see, Raven Republic used to put out stuff all the time. He actually got back to me as far as everything goes. He's willing to get back into it if there's actually interest again. So yeah, like Raven Republic went down. The Facebook page just became a weird thing for just art all the time. The Reddit is still technically around, but that's kind of a newer thing. I saw like 4 primary discords for the western side fall apart. For some reason, there's this weird thing where the AC community tends to attract a lot of very toxic individuals, and I mean toxic in the very, I guess, older sense there, wherein I think it's largely just because there's so much customization, personalization, whatever else to the series. There's always that one guy that comes in and needs everyone to praise him. Like, needs everybody just be all up on their junk all the time. Like, oh, I've made the greatest thing ever. Look, here's all this fan art and fan stories I made for it. And it's like, just love it all the time. Like, dude, chill. Like, it's an interesting setting. It's a fun game. calm down. I literally saw a guy start a cult around himself a bit over a year ago. I mean, it's bizarre. It's just downright bizarre. There's no other word for it. And that happened over and over and over and over for so many different communities. And like, it only takes one is the sad part. Just like one comes in, starts pulling all that kind of crap, and then just immediately they start scaring off new people. Growth dies, just falls dead flat on the spot. And yeah, my friends are out from the communities. I don't know if I can call TBM's community one, but at least more chill yet. I mean, he has a nice little community. He does streams and things like that. His is probably one like his and the Raven's Nest are probably the most stable at the moment. It's just yeah, it kept happening over and over. There's only so much that could be done in those cases, and the problem is anytime one of those times happened, usually the folks that were leading those communities ended up kind of getting salty about the whole thing, ended up getting really disenfranchised as far as the whole series goes. Like, when it got bad real fast, and it got real severe. That's the problem, and it sucks. It really sucks, but that's just kind of what happened on the western side here. On the Japanese side, they're actually still doing Formula Front tournaments. I will say, Voctor has been doing a real good job of repeatedly challenging people for PvP fights and everything. So I know Voctor, Youngmaster, and I want to say Celtic. I forget if Celtic is the young one. Whatever. All of them have been doing a real good job of keeping the Western PvP community going. So they're doing their thing. What else here? There we go. See PvP from those guys sometimes. Yeah, it's been nice. It's been nice to see more of that. So I've been meaning to go against Voctor a few more times. I have a new setup now. I still need to get Hamachi going on all this, so I might be able to do some stuff with them too. See, was into the Discords when they were really, really rude and bad. Yeah, ACD2 is still around. ACD1, I don't know if anyone was around for that. But that one died over the course of an evening. It went from, like, a happy little community that did a lot of 5th gen to just, like, completely eating itself over the course of an evening, and then was just deleted by the morning. There was so much crap that got in there so fast that, like, it actually got banned. There's Oblint is somewhat rebuilding the 4th gen community. I'm not familiar with them, but it would be interesting to take a look at them. If you're on the Discord, if you wouldn't mind sending me a link to that, I would greatly appreciate it. Because I'd love to. I like to, subscribe and follow any other AC folks that I can find. I used to do a lot more AC stuff myself. I used to actually. I think I've got the most Formula Front videos out there. When it comes to the Western side, at the very least, because I'm pretty sure VGFF has. Actually, no, I think I have the most. Period. But it's just. Yeah, I kind of burned out on it for a little bit, and I'm interested in getting back into it now. It is one of those things that you can get burnt out pretty easily. But yeah, especially once the Tactics Ogre community started growing more, I wanted to see more of that. And especially once all the mods started coming there. Let's see. Seen AC fans from AC Universe Discord being really tired of the other fans. Yeah, that's the thing. They always tend to fight each other. Speaking of, I actually meant to finish doing those AC Generations articles. I don't know if anyone from here read those by chance, but I was trying to put together a collection of articles, just kind of trying to explain what happened with all those different generations for people, just to kind of like celebrate what each one did right, what each one arguably did wrong, what like each different generation, each different game was just a different experiment. Quite frankly, there's no reason not to view it as one big homogenous whole, because it's a total clusterfuck. Can't understand the story. I also made a video for that, weirdly enough. I think it's !timeline to pull up that video. Not sure. Let's see, doing some 4th gen stuff as well if you're interested. Actually, come to think of it, for once I have YouTube up, so yeah, actually with that link, feel free to send it here as well, because I can just pull it up. Because I usually don't have Chrome up because it has a tendency to make this computer have issues. There we go. So went ahead and did the subscribey thing there. But yeah, I made a timeline video trying to explain where everything sits in the series. At least as far as I see it, it's not fully confirmed or anything, but it seems like a reasonable assumption. But anyway, let's get the Marigate in here from AC4. See if she wins this thing. I actually didn't see if that last one won, but let's go ahead and give this a bit of a go. So you playing online almost daily for 4A. Unfortunately I don't have my PS3 anymore, so I can't do 4 answer there, but love to watch those. Thank you for the follow there, greatly appreciate it. But yeah, I ended up having to sell my PS3 a little while ago. But yeah, I used to love the hell out of that. I'm gonna think that I should probably do some giveaways for some of the AC games. Oh wow, yeah, the Marigate is pretty awful. I forgot about that. Especially when she doesn't seem to want to dodge whatsoever. Some sweet non-dodges there, Marigate. Oh yeah, this is a total curb stomp. But actually, I've been meaning. I was wanting to do a crazy tournament that I never ended up getting to last year. There was this cheat that the Japanese folks had provided me with that basically switches out your back weapon and primary weapon projectile types. So, for example, you can have a machine gun that fires pursuit pods. It's pretty amazing. I will say though, it's really abusable. So the main issue with that is that I never managed to finish making it. All right, here we go. These are some of the ones I believe Bokter put together. Might be wrong on that. Let's go ahead and get Zubin El Janubi. He put at least one of these in as a. I know I messed with some of this team, but anyway. Okay, thank you. Hang on, I missed part of your name there. Thank you, Satan X, for the follow. Interesting name there. All right, let's see if Zubin El Janubi can cheap this guy out. Looking pretty likely. Yeah, there we go. He's getting pretty good there. Yeah, Zubin actually held up pretty well in the 200 AC tournament. So seen negative feelings from people saying that they never played mechas and say the genre is dead. I mean, we got right now we have a Daemon X Machina. That looks amazing. Like if I could afford to get a Switch, I probably would have. It looks really good, and in fact, has many of the old Armored Core folks, and more than likely, I was saying this last year as well. More than likely, the reason that we never ended up getting any AC stuff up to this point is likely because they had plans to do it, but couldn't because most of the people that they want on that project were doing other things. So if you didn't know, there was Left Alive that had the main and third gen visual designers. There were a lot of the mechanical designers and director, I believe, that went off to do Daemon X Machina, and then there were the rest of the team that were working on Sekiro, I believe. So they basically had all the people that they would normally have for Armored Core doing other stuff. So more than likely, we might still see a return to form. It's unclear, but it is possible. So yeah, there's always folks saying that entire genres are dead. This stuff comes and goes. Nothing stays dead for too long. And honestly, I'd say AC is looking more and more likely to make a comeback. And by the way, you might be wondering why Exile has the Dagger Blade instead of the Moonlight. It was the only way to make his AI use it like he should. So unfortunately, it looks like he's still being a bit of a doofus here. But yeah, the Formula Front is all about trying to make your AIs do things that they don't want to do. It's basically trying to get an angry toddler to eat their friggin' dinner. Like, oh my god, you friggin' love your your hot dogs and mac and cheese. Just eat it. No, I don't wanna. And pushes the chair away from the table. Okay, yeah, Exile, you're doing fantastic. Let's go ahead and get somebody with some actual competence in here, please. Yeah. These are definitely not the refined versions. They're just the ones that I had saved. Let's see what we got in War Hippie here. I know I had some folks here. Barchetta, yeah, I mean, that's likely. Ooh, Supplice. Let's get Supplice in here. They were pretty neat. I like Supplice. Even if they only kind of, sort of, carried over correctly. Alright, 10 o'clock. Time for my second protein shake off this protein shake diet. Man. Yeah, trying this liquid diet with my wife. It's It's supposed to reset your stomach and everything else, but oh my goodness. Everything seems delicious. Want to have something other than protein shakes? But still another week to go yet. Supplice is alright. He's just got all the accuracy of a friggin' drunk blind man, but oh well. Come to think of it, how messed up... Legitimate question, I wonder how the world is perceived being blind and drunk. I wonder. Alright. But yeah, you know, when it comes to the AC community, though, as far as that whole negativity thing, again, they need something to rally around. That's always the problem. Because typically, the PvP community always wanted to rally around the newest game, presumably having the most to deal with. Many of the longer time folks preferred to rally around, you know, whatever their favorite game was, so they tried to rally folks around that. Many others tried to rally around, you know, specific aspects that they liked. So it's just there was no central rally point. And if they make a remake, if they manage to remake the entire series in one fell sweep, then there would be a chance for the community to get back together, as far as I see it. Because, like I said, there's no central point. There's no like this is the one right now, you know? Like if they like I said, full remake, if they add all the new PvP, they would have most of the community in one spot. They would have most of the games that folks liked. They'd have those folks that were asking for 4th and 5th gen, but they would still have their own games. And then as long as they didn't kill the 4th gen servers, and like let's say the new one came out on PC, they would have a lot more folks going for it. They would have a lot more, you know, centralization as far as everything goes. It could work. It could reasonably get the community together. I'm not really sure that a new sequel could do that as well as a remake could. Yeah, FromSoft PC ports. I mean, yeah, it's a meme by this point, but at least they're letting other people do it. At least they're finally opening up. I mean, I'm hoping, if anything, their partnership with Devolver has at least given them some proper insight into the Western community. Not the same whole thing that they did before of like, oh, they clearly must like Brown, and they like cover shooters. Let's make 5th gen a friggin' cover shooter that you can't see jack. Interesting mechanics, really visually hard to look at. And that also just created even more split. Not to mention, then they created the split between 5 and VD because they didn't want to keep the maps. They didn't want to release Spot or Verdict Day as a DLC. Then they had 5 with like 40 DLCs already. Like, I kid you not, I've never seen so many DLCs in one game. But they basically had DLCs for freaking everything. They DLC'd the crap out of Verdict Day. It's strange how they handled all of that. They managed to split the community in half. They managed to piss off the folks that liked 5. They managed to alienate the ones from 4. They managed to alienate the old gen folks. It's like, it's difficult for somebody to get absolutely everything wrong like they did there. And it's not like they didn't know how to design games. It's just it was all coming from a lot of misguided places. That's all it is. It was well intentioned and very misguided. Also, Damon, whatever. Thank you. He needed 2 shots from his MG there. He decides to switch over to his rockets and go for the fancy snipe. So there you go, Mr. Javelins. You wanted to see them beaten with rockets. I guess we're doing that now. Alright. Let's go ahead and move on here. I mean, I will say the PC ports, while they were not ideal, they at least exist. And mods typically, you know, fix that within 24 hours. So you never seen a DLC for AC, heard bad things about 5. Okay, so 5 basically copied the same system for Metal Wolf Chaos. So it was very ground-based. But both 5 and Verdict Day had DLCs for, like, unlocking AI slots, unlocking AI chips, unlocking pre-made things, getting cosmetic parts, which you otherwise would have to go through a bunch of stuff to unlock. Like, there were, I'm not even joking, like 40-something DLCs. And it was depressingly over DLC'd. You even had to get a DLC in order to even play part of the online, because they kind of screwed something up with a patch, I guess. Not to mention, if you pre-ordered it, you had to get a separate DLC to make sure that the game would even launch for you when it came to 5. Verdict Day, yeah. Verdict Day is fun, don't get me wrong. Visually, I find it very hard to look at, but the mechanics there were very solid. There was a lot of cool stuff that they tried to do. There's a lot of cool design elements. The multiplayer maps were better in 5 because they actually suited the whole kind of cover shooter type of aspect a lot better. In Verdict Day, they kind of had an issue where they took away a lot of the maps with cover. They made them a lot more open. They had a lot more big open areas, so that whole thing where you were basically Spider-Maning your way around or hopping off walls and whatever else became really awkward when you're in the middle of an open area and all you can do is hop and very slowly hover. So, yeah, folks got a little bit upset about that. Because, yeah, it's just the map design did not really work when it came to the actual gameplay a lot of the time. But it did have a lot of really cool gameplay modes. Like I was mentioning earlier, that hardcore mode is probably one of the coolest things I've seen in the series. The fact that they swapped out back weapons and allowed you to carry 4 primary weapons plus potentially 2 shields, and then just you had one shoulder slot, right? You had one shoulder slot, potentially doubling up on that if you had the right arms. That would essentially carry your missiles or your inside weapons or whatever else. You only had one. You had one slot for your missiles or your rockets or your ECMs or your computer boosters. Like you had a thing that you could sacrifice that slot for a thing that improved your aim with your primary weapons as well as improving the aim of your entire team. Or you could potentially, put a jammer in there, or you might put some other kind of trick weapon in there, and it was cool. And you could also do like melee fighting. You could run up and kick dudes. So putting on 2 shields and just like kicking somebody in the face was a legit strategy. It was really cool. It had a lot of cool stuff going on. It's just there was so much dust in every one of the maps that it was very difficult to see. So personally, like as much as I loved playing it, I couldn't play it for any length of time because it just hurt my eyes. It was physically painful. So you heard FromSoft would like to make a battle royale game. It came to mind that they can make something within the AC universe. Yeah, that could work. I mean, honestly, the multiplayer for 5th Gen was, in many ways, kind of a battle royale in and of itself. Because you just had 10 people showing up. Each different team had their own objectives to handle, and then they usually just duked it out between each other. And yeah, Verdict Day had some pretty scary stuff as far as their AI goes. Whenever they decide to move forward on, I'd be kind of okay with them backing off on the AI aspect a little bit. Because people made completely busted AIs, like for example, just tanks that would just hover in place and then just snipe people from a million miles away. And usually their aim was so quick that you couldn't even, like, you would just pop your head out of a building while they were somewhere completely different, and they would just be like, poof, dead. Like, you were just dead on the spot. It was insane. See, they made a battle royale for Mario Brothers? How the hell does that work? Yeah, looks like Mr. Javelin's AIs are leaning pretty heavy on the meta. They've got some pretty okay AIs, I'd say. I will say, yeah, would like to see something other than bazookas everywhere. I hope when TBM does his tournament, he does finally follow my advice to ban bazookas, because, yeah. See, Vinesaw streamed it the other day, it's fan-made. Alright, that makes sense. Alright, not Betrayed team. Let's go for something different here. What do we got? What's under mobile armor? Oh, we got the Funeral Mask. Okay, yeah, we got Funeral Mask, we got Clown Face. Ooh, no, we got the Mayvors. Alright, the Mayvors is always fun to watch. This is one of the ones that also, despite having really iffy stats, held up really well in the tournament. Because, yeah, he's really fast. Yeah, he banned the BP in the last one. Yeah, but then, here's the thing, though. There's so many parts that have to be banned in order to make it work. That for all intents and purposes, you gotta go small arms only. Like, you'd have to ban about half the grenade launchers. You'd have to ban most of the bazookas. You'd have to ban anything involving napalm. Yeah, there we go. Man, I love watching the Mayvors. This one turned out so well. It's like, look at this thing. He's just zipping and zooming all over the place, and then he gets hit once and he dies. But, oh well. Come on, put out that ECM maker. You know you want to. Yeah, the AI hates to use their ECMs for some reason. Like right there, he would have won it if he didn't. If he actually tried to use his ECM. Let's give him another try here. Let's see, what if an AC Battle Royale game, the game would have microtransactions to buy parts in-game? I hope not. I think they finally learned their lesson after Verdict Day that no one's gonna buy all that crap. So parts are banned in this game in multiplayer settings or just in player organized. Okay, so on the Western side, when it comes to tournaments, there's only a few people that have done them. I've done them, and TBM's done them. And I believe Bokter did one once. But basically, the AI does not know how to dodge. So anything like, for example, right here, you can see how these bazookas are wrecking here. And it's because the AI understands how to dodge missiles, but it doesn't know how to dodge anything else. So you have to program it in such a way that it happens to know that it's dodging a thing. But it doesn't make any special exceptions for it. So it will more than happily just eat a bazooka to the face and just sit there because it thinks it can aim at something else. But anyway, so essentially the exception that had to be made there was to ban a lot of the things that can wreck them outright. So bazookas, if you got dual bazookas, they will sit there and eat it. So yeah, they're one of those things that's balanced for a player for a PvP type situation because players can dodge them just fine. The AI does not make special exceptions to dodge them. It doesn't view them as a threat, so it will just it doesn't care. It views them the same as any other small arms fire, and it'll just happily take them. So it leads to a bizarre situation where they wind up OP by situation more than anything else. Same thing with napalm rockets. Any player would, just know how to deal with that situation, but the AI will happily keep boosting and flying while overheating themselves, and happily run out of their energy bar and just sit there hopping like a brain-dead chicken, and, they'll just screw themselves, basically. Not to mention you have to ban a lot of the maps, because several of the maps have situations where they start up right in front of each other, meaning that the AI will instantly fire, and they will instantly be able to disable whatever they're firing at. So in many cases you see PvP situations where they'll both fire, both disable each other, and it just becomes a DPS race, which is really boring to watch. But on the Japanese side, I think it was VGFF, that's the name of the channel. They managed, and no, I don't know why I have a pair of pliers either. They managed to get the PS2 version going, which got the original version of the game working. The original version of the PvP in this game is 5v5, with damage and ammo loss from certain fights carrying over to the next one. You get about 10% ammo and AP back, and then just moves on to the next one on the list. And so the idea was, if you've ever wondered why you can't use the same parts for multiple units, the idea was that, yeah, you couldn't use the same parts over and over again, meaning that it managed to balance out in the long run. So if you had one of napalm rockets, okay, fine. They're OP as hell for a single fight, but they're not going to matter jack for the rest of it because there's only 2 napalm rockets in the entire game. Well, I guess technically 3, but no one's going to use the left arm ones, let's be honest. So it's not going to be the thing that wins the fight. And so you tended to see a lot more mixed builds, you tended to see a lot more different type of stuff going on. In fact, let me see if I can... let's see, I think it was VGFF. Let me get their information up here, because I want to share that with everybody here. Because yeah, these guys are absolutely amazing. So VGRFF or VGRM. The problem is that they only put out tournaments every so often, so it's a little bit difficult to... No, VRGP is what they're currently called. Okay. So here is the link to their channel, first of all. So here we go. Apparently my right click isn't working, so there we go. So that is their channel. I would highly recommend do the whole subscribe-y thing, because yeah, they put out stuff pretty regularly. Looks like a few months ago was their last one, but that's to give you an idea what they can do. And they've unlocked maps that technically don't exist. They've unlocked, basically they've unlocked a bunch of features. They've gotten Human Plus working on the Japanese version. They've gotten all kinds of stuff. Now, their site has a bunch of cheat codes, and you gotta kind of translate them. I put up a translated list on the Discord a while ago. This was like a year ago, so I don't know if how many folks have still seen that. But you can do things like swapping out what your weapon ammo types are, You can just give unlimited energy, all that kind of thing. So I wanted to do a tournament with unlimited energy and swapped out weapons just to kind of see what kind of crazy crap people come up with. It's just, yeah, you've got to come up with weird custom rules to make it work for the PSP version, because unfortunately that 5v5, it hasn't been possible to get working, and it's kind of a massive pain in the neck to get the PS2 version working, leading to one place for all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, those are really fun to watch. Just if you've ever wondered what this game with some actual balance looks like. So here, let's go ahead and swap out for a different one here. Let's kind of see. Let's see how the Shadow Cow does. This is Mr. Cow's build here. It was one of his community ACs that was in the tournament. But yeah, especially those last two tournaments were really fun to watch. I mean, they had one really cool one that they did that was basically every single weapon's projectile was replaced with mines. So it's just basically floating mines flying around all over the place. It just looked like a shmup at that point. It had so many effects on it that the game just started lagging and almost died. Oh, thank you for the follow there, Mr. Javelin. Great to see you here. Alright, come on, Shadow Cow. Man, everybody's just barely getting short of finishing this one. So many bazookas. Just all the bazookas all over the place. Alright, let's bring in Count 1 again, I think. Go get this fight going once more. Yeah, so the part bans are just these AI fights and not in a straight up 1v1. The part bans, yeah, are only for 1v1. Because if the 5v5 system was available, the game would balance itself. That's the sad part. Like, this game had decent balance. And even accounting for the absolutely trash-awful AI, it still worked. It still worked very well because it balanced itself just on sheer limitations. And unfortunately, you know, for the PSP version we won't see that, but we can potentially see some other stuff happening. But yeah, the actual infrastructure that they have going on for that PS2 version requires a lot of folks to put in submissions, which it seems like they've got a good like 10 or so teams that regularly participate. They have to be able to put all those PS2 save files together, which is a massive pain in the neck. And on top of that, they have to be able to emulate Armored Core on the PS2, which is a whole other can of fish. Why you have fish in a can, I'm not sure, but that's your thing to question. AIC is causing some trouble a little bit. Currently, we are on team 4. About the first three, they pretty much got curb stomped by Epsom. As after that, once all the bazookas started coming in, it's just been kind of rolling the dice against the bazookas. That's the one thing. It's very bazooka heavy. Very bazooka heavy. See, banning parts and tourneys is proof of a game's terrible balance. The better alternative, in my opinion, is segregating the tournaments into classes like Ninebreaker in this game. See, that's the thing. That's because this game was balanced for 5v5. So even if somebody used, for example, dual BPs, that would be one of their ACs. That one would be worn down. There's no way that thing would just win the entire tournament. Like, it would get worn down, it would run out of shots, it wouldn't have a chance to keep on going. Because each of those weapons is limited by their ammo capacity. If you're doing a tournament exclusively on 1v1s, well, that's a completely different story. Suddenly that ammo capacity doesn't matter. Suddenly that limitation on parts doesn't matter. Ooh, man, this one's turned out pretty nifty. I like it. Alright, come on, Mavors. I want to see you win some stuff. I love the Mavors. It's just look at this stylish fighting style he's got going on here. You know, it's like little needles everywhere. Let's see, banning card. Okay, I was about to read the same message because it came up with a little pop-up here. But yeah, that's the thing. It's kind of sad when they balanced it for a game mode that they didn't even include in this version of the game. You can use it online, technically speaking, but the online does not exist. And as much as I've tested it to try to get the online working, unfortunately it has not panned out. So if I can find a way to make that happen, I'll gladly do 5v5 tournaments, because that's what this game was made for, and it functions fantastically in that particular way. Read my note. If I can, like, for example, my thought would be if I could get it emulating on 2 different PCs at one time here, Potentially just connect through Hamachi and just get it going through a room like that. Maybe, maybe. I've yet to get it working. If I have time to get that working, I would love to do that and show folks how to do it. All right, so there we go. Move on to number 3 because Mayforce is amazing. All right. So, I remember actually watching a speedrun of this game, the runner using a quad with bazooka arms. Yeah, no, bazooka's wrecking this because the AIs do not know how to deal with it. They do not dodge. So, if something doesn't dodge, you just hit it as hard as you can, and that's it. You just move around at random. Oh yeah, no, the grenade arms, no. Mayforce has got this one for sure. I think whatever the rules are for this tournament, I'm submitting Mayforce because I want to see this thing get its time to shine. And that's always the frustrating thing. You want to set up a tournament where you get some cool builds or whatever else, and almost every time it's just going to be, when it comes to FF, it's always going to be like, I put, like heavyweight arms and let's say an 800 MG and long range missiles. And, like, there's the wall build. That's the one that, for example, Cow had put one together there called the Tempest. And that thing was just basically sitting far away and just pew-pewing the entire time. Boring to watch, but dang effective. Usually bazooka builds end up winning. Again, bazookas and grenade builds. Boring to watch, very effective. Very rarely do you actually see stuff like for example, the Mayforce here. I love watching this thing. It does so good when it gets into fights. But more often than not, it just typically gets itself shot. It just runs right in front of a barrel, and it's like, oh, it's time for a hard landing, and then just dies. Never one of the prototypes can be a problem. It's Formula Front. Everything is a problem. It's like you could have the best built AI ever, it'll still just randomly get itself killed. I will say, by the way, I'm messing around. These are just random story builds. These are random stuff from the series. I haven't been, aside from the soda baskets, so that's again a joke build. We haven't used any like serious meta builds this time around. Just because I want to actually have some fun watching this. See, can you select movement patterns like the Unax of 5th gen? Not exactly. You can give them 5 commands. I'll show you the system right after this. You can give them 5 commands in terms of like very general stuff, like use overboost to get behind them, or try to get in close range, or try to do zigzag patterns or that kind of thing. But yeah, it's weird. They switch up one of those chips every 30 seconds, and then aside from that, you just have general stuff. And yeah, we have the same thing here. He's just gonna sit here and die now. Like, I got rusty with bipeds, pretty much use quads much more. I think ultimately once everybody finds their style, they stop using bipeds. Then some people really like their biped style. Like, personally, I love heavy reverse joint. It doesn't matter what game it is, I always go A's or J's. Always get made fun of for it, but then again, I'm still glad to say that with a heavy reverse joints with only rockets, I managed to still technically get a win off against the guy that won the Silent Line tournament. So yeah. This is why I love the Mayforce. Those comebacks. All right. Anyway, I need to take a quick pause. Let me show you the AI system first of all, and then I need to go help out the kiddo real quick. Here's what it is. You got some meters over here. You deal with those. Got some meters over here. These are your cheats. And then you got stuff over here, which are all of your chips. And then you have them do specific stuff every 30 seconds. So, alright. I will be right back. I gotta get the kiddo some snacks and stuff, and see you soon. Alrighty, dead duties have been fulfilled. Moving on then. Alright, so we're discussing the leg types, yeah? Let's continue discussing leg types then. Well, actually, first of all, we're discussing AI. So yeah, this is the overall AI system, as far as what options we have for this one. So yeah, you got get into close range. I should point out, a lot of these don't actually work the way that they say they do. So it's more important to look at the little 9-tile grid over there on the bottom right to actually tell you what it's doing. So this one is exclusively movement. It doesn't say to use any specific weapons, and in many cases, it's not going to tell them to prioritize any type of weapon. So they may just decide, like, oh, it's time to move and never fire. They might just decide to move and fire. So it tells them to go full back. It doesn't always work. Sometimes if they run into stuff, they'll gladly just keep boosting backwards into an obstacle. For full slide, they use auxiliary boosters more often. This is the one that you use to make one, like for example, if you want to make a permanently hovering extension user. Even then, they might just forget to use it. Crossover attempts to boost and take position behind them. Now, the funny part is, they will gladly just completely burn themselves dry using this. Like, if there's a thing that says to use both boost and jump, they will gladly run themselves into charging. They do not care. Rush and turn, take position behind them. That sometimes works. Honestly, more often than not, you don't want to use these. Got a tight strafe, wide strafe, strafe ahead, strafe back, jump, jump slide. Got jumping ahead. It's kind of interesting that they actually show a hover for this for some reason. You'd never want to use this on a hover. Jump back, jump around, which that's a fantastic way to get one that's going to burn itself out. Okay, attacking with both weapons. Attacking with double fire here. Now, interestingly enough, double fire, it says it affects the ability to use inside parts. And here's the thing: double fire plus and double fire seem to have the exact same function. I'm assuming that this one means that it's slower to use its inside parts, but honestly, they seem to do about the same thing. Wild shot, they just try to fire whatever. Full scale, again, they will just attack whatever. Few, if any, defensive tactics will be used. Yeah, they don't really use defensive tactics. Anyway, let's see, dual back, right, left, back, and inside. These are just parts that will disable a certain weapon for a certain amount of time. In this case, it can be however long you put on there, for as long as a minute and a half or 2 minutes, in the case of your back weapons and inside parts. Honestly, these are probably more useful than many of the others, because you can cause them to use a particular weapon and then burn out on that instead of switching randomly. Slashes, energy waves, and spikes. Interestingly enough, the energy wave seems to be more useful for your actual parry blade builds than your spike. Not too sure why. I think it's largely just because they try to keep the same elevation. If you go for just spike there, they usually will, like when they trigger the actual parry blade, it'll be in a good position, but by the time it actually goes, it'll be in a bad one. It seems like the Wave Blade tries to attack from farther away, so that when they actually get into close range, they're more likely to hit with it. But yeah, this is just kind of showing off where they are in general. Honestly, there's a lot of them, but all of them are so situational that you're better off just not using them, period. I very rarely use them myself, but this was just kind of just to show off what we're dealing with here. So I believe we were on number 4 here, because the Mayvors had just 1. Let's go ahead and go for a different map, I think. If you want to, by the way, if there's any particular AC that you're curious about or just want to see from older games, odds are I've remade it, so let me know, and we'll see about getting that into the fight here. I just really like watching the Mayvors personally. It just it does such a good job. But yeah, as far as leg types are concerned, again, it's all just a matter of personal preference always. Like, I think everybody starts off with bipeds just because they're good in general position type stuff. Like I said, the reason that I typically prefer the heavier burst joints is just sheer defense. Like, the fact that they don't cost very much and they're very defensive. Oh yeah, you gonna die, Mr. Vavors. You got nothing for this one. See, assuming you don't have a Berlioz remake. Oh, I don't, do I? Well, conveniently, I have one of those. Where are they exactly? Hang on just a sec. Gotta find them, but they're actually one of the ones I have loaded up right now. I have 200 plus ACs from the series remade. Bear in mind they were remade within the limitations of this game, so for example, typically instead of grenade launchers, they will have rockets. Thanks for the breakdown there. Gladly. Glad to help with any of that. I want to say it was War Hippie that they were in. Yeah, here we go. The supplice. So there we go. So yeah, instead of his grenade launcher, he has a large rocket. Typically, they will do about the same amount of damage, and since he'd be moving around and firing it, and there is no OPI option in this game, that's how we're going to go ahead and go with it. He's got anti-missiles, so that should be alright. Let's go ahead and quick save right there. And we gotta have him fight in the desert, of course, so let's make that happen. Get yon desert over here. Go ahead and pull up that, what the hell was that one called? Just had it in my mind a second ago. Oh well. It's funny. I love the style of AC4, but god, that story was completely incomprehensible. Like, that was one of the few that I went and 100%ed it. And even after 100%ing it, I was like, man, they're totally going to explain the story at some point. Like, finally get all S ranks on everything, just sitting there like, I still have no idea what the actual plot was. So I go to the wiki and I read it, and like, I don't really remember this taking place, but if you say so. Then again, reading the wikis back in the day, like, this was like back in 2008, 2007, 2008-ish, whatever. It was a weird time because honestly, a lot of folks had put in information that totally didn't even happen in the games at that point. Like, especially trying to make sense of the last Raven one was hilarious. Let's see. Did you try looting every item in the game and reading the description? Oh wait, that's Dark Souls. I mean, you kind of can. I mean, we can go ahead and do the whole body video thing. Like, oh, and as we go over here, we see we have the CR473E, which is listed as a high-performance model. It's a radar equipped and good versus ECM quality. What exactly that means is anyone's guess, because how is it good versus ECM quality? How exactly does that scale? How do you versus ECM quality exactly? Presumably they meant its quality against it, or it's just good versus ECM. Or maybe they tried to say that its stat was that good, but really awkward wording for it. Build reminds me of Milky Way from AC3. This is Milky Way from AC3. You want to see Milky Way in this fight? Alright, let's do this thing. Let's get Milky Way. But yeah, like I said, this is all of them. Like, I kid you not, I remade practically every AC I could think of that mattered in the series. All 200 of them. If by any chance you want to go and use any of them, I have them saved in a Dropbox. It should still be saved in the files section, like way up there, over on the Discord. But like, I put all of a ton of my personal builds. I put all 200 participants at that tournament. I put the community builds that people had put together. There's a ton of stuff on there. What are you doing, Milky Way? No! Dodge! Dodge, you fool! So, interesting note about this game, by the way, they don't dodge missiles unless you give them the optional part that gives them missile identification. I believe unless their head or radar already has that built in. So yeah, she does not see those missiles. She's completely blind. And just got completely donkey punched out of the sky, so that's always fun. That's this game in general. It's like all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, like right here we got Thunderstrike from Nexus. We got Sundial from kind of like a remake of Sundial, because interestingly enough, Sundial's build was entirely impossible for this game. They were so overweight and using so many cheats that it could not work. So they had to be rebuilt with different legs. They normally use different legs. They use a different core, I believe. But yeah, they had to be rebuilt almost entirely. But the idea is still there. Like, I tried to be as authentic as I could with these builds. Like, come on, surely you can... There we go. This one, see, like this one, if I were to pull up this one, you can see that they're even though their tracking for those missiles isn't very good, they still see a dot show up on the radar, so it's still something. Or actually, no, they're not tracking. That's weird that it doesn't show up for them. Anyway, this game's mysterious. It's made of magic, as you know. So yeah, the red dot is actually their current target movement location. This gives you some weird information as far as all them go, but sometimes they'll dodge, sometimes they won't. It just all depends on the AI. Keep switching camera angles here. Interestingly enough, you can never see your opponent's setup. There we go, let's go back to just this. And now that I've turned everything off, I guess they're going to start sucking. But yeah. So like I said, if there's any favorite AC you've got from the series, odds are it's probably rebuilt already. I tried to add as much of the original personality as I could. Obviously not everything's going to be exact, and the emblem is for the team instead of an individual thing, so that isn't there, but, you know, close enough. I'm sure somebody can put in the actual emblem. Like, I believe when Royal was going and doing a bunch of the fights, he was actually remaking all their emblems and everything, which yeah, personally, I just feel like that's a touch too much effort to actually do. Because this, like, just setting up the AI, setting up the builds and everything else takes enough time already, because you gotta rebuild every frickin' aspect of them. FF doesn't have all the parts from the portable games. It came way earlier. Yes, it came right before the remakes, and you can actually tell it's the same engine, but they do change a lot of things when the actual remakes come around, especially the control scheme, because the control scheme for this one is trash. All right, so there we go. Yeah, honestly, manual is barely usable in this game. You can beat it using manual, but it's honestly difficult for the wrong reasons. All right. By the way, we got one of the more annoying ACs from Verdict Day here, Trompe de Oleo. Yes, I know, Mr. Cow. You beat it manual, dang it. I know. Okay. Did you ever actually beat that challenge where you have to use just the stock standard AC? But yeah, so we're still gonna beat this with story ACs. I really don't want to build a meta AC for this. Oh man, Trompy, Olale, you're so good at sniping. Love it. This one surprisingly died in their like first couple rounds. In what game? This one? Yeah, I thought you. Yeah, you actually. I think you said you stalled out on that challenge before considering to try it later. Because it was the standard red that you were going to use, and then you said you were trying to use only AI chips to be able to lead that thing through the game, which honestly seems more frustrating than anything. There we go. So there's Team 4 dealt with. RIP Team 4. And let's go ahead and go ahead to Team 5. So yeah, as a reminder... Oh, actually there's more... Okay, never mind. There's like 10 teams, actually. Was right the very first time. Alright, let's go for a change of scenery here. Feel like we can go for a nighttime fight. And yeah, anyone, feel free to throw out whatever preferences. Let's see. Think you did, but not sure. Fair enough. Okay, let's get the Rabbit's Foot. It's funny because we have the Rabbit's Foot and the Omicron, so we have functionally several different rebuilds of the AC2 intro AC all over the place. And yeah. So let's go ahead and have him take part here. And yeah, he doesn't have his laser cannon. There's no laser rockets, which, by the way, massive miss on them from that one. I feel like portable laser rockets, like just, I don't know, like feels like pulse cannons would have been the ideal for that. Where it's just functionally an energy rocket. Would have been really nice. There's no H plus or OPI in this game, even with cheats. Yes, so here's the story on that. When it comes to OPI and all that, for the PS2 version, he managed to get it working. The last that I checked, you can turn on Human Plus, but it only works for quads when it comes to the PSP version. There was some more hex editing that he needed to do in order to make the cheat work, and I don't know if he actually ever got it working. So now in this game, it's like Last Rayman Nexus. Yeah, so again, there is a cheat technically, but it only works for quads. And unfortunately, it also disables a lot of weapons. So yeah, it can work, and there is a way to make it work. That he found a way, since apparently the hex codes are actually different between the PS2 and PSP games. So he found a way to get it working on the PS2 one. They have had Human Plus tournaments for the PS2 game, but for this one, to my knowledge, he never actually managed to get it working, at least not in a full capacity. Now, let me see real quick. There was some tests that they put up a little while ago. Let me see if they still have their... Okay, here we go. So here's their website. Let's go over to cheat codes and see if we can find it here. So here's their site. This is the one where they have all their cheat codes and everything. So you can, for example, that ammo swap cheat you can find in here. As far as I don't know when this was last updated. Let's see here. And yeah, they even have hidden maps that were never officially put out anywhere that are functional for the PSP one. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Okay, so no replay. We'll go ahead and do the next fight then. And we'll let Omicron continue here. Who's this? Javelin 3. Okay, let's swap that over for 2 then. And go ahead and start this one. Hi there, Evan. Thank you very much. Unless you're talking about the website, in which case they thank you very much, I'm assuming. I don't know why this doesn't have the... Here we go. Translate to English. Alright, let's see. Par. Yeah, there's some new stuff. So, yeah, the PS2 codes... Oh, wait. Whoops. I accidentally set this off as manual. Never play manual. Empty area warning disabled. Not sure what that's about. Area over invalid. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, it looks like they've expanded the PS2 cheats a lot. Let's check on the PSP one. So, let's see. Infinite energy. AP infinite. Shoulder weapon. Yeah, so we got shoulder and arm swaps. Striking. Yeah, only the quadruped and tank can use the Human Plus cheat, so it's a little bit pointless right now. It doesn't look like they ever fixed it. But they do include some addresses if anyone wants to potentially mess with the codes there. So just remember to translate it to English if you're going there. Behold your final form. Wait, you should change your TO character to a robot, though? I mean, maybe. Personally, I just have them up there just folks typically tend to ask if the thing's lagging or not, so I figure that's a good way to test it. I'm not even sure what I'd... Like, if there was a way to make, like, a little walking adieu or something like that, I totally would. You know what? I should ask Buster about that. He probably knows how to make a little GIF. Oh, in fact, no. He put out that video a while ago, in which you can basically 3D model it and potentially do, like, little animations of it. If I do a zoomed-in... Yes! If I do a zoomed-out version of adieu, just have him walking, record that, give it a transparent background, set it up as a GIF. Oh. Yeah. We're gonna do that. We'll do that at some point. Yeah, Omicron's not very good, by the way. Let's see. My box Grammy power is unknowable by mere humans. Why do you have a cow in a box, exactly? Do I want to know? Alright, let's go ahead and get Kamui in here, who unfortunately never really got much of a chance in the tournament. He lasted a little while, but then he got wrecked. Yeah, I think that the only power we've got over here is the power of bridges. But oh well. Alright. Yeah, realistically, I don't think Kamway's gonna win this just because there's too many buildings in the way. There's just so many potential advantages and disadvantages of different stuff in this game. He can't hit Jack. Well, Mr. Javelin, I essentially put a guy that can't aim worth a crap in a place with a ton of obstacles, so... Alright, so what are we dealing with this guy? Finally we got something that isn't using bazookas. That's great to see. It looks like we got linear and machine gun. I mean, alright, that can work. It's not going to pierce this armor too well, but... You know, considering that armor can't really hit anything, that's probably alright. Kind of want to have this thing fight Etsum, just to kind of show him how DPS is done. Still got my Overlord laying around? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm pretty sure I have it saved over there. Wrecked! Alright, so that was AC2. Let's go ahead and have Etsum fight that thing real quick. Just because I want to see how that pans out. Like, more than likely, Etsum should win it, mostly because Etsum's whole deal is just that she hits from a ton of different damage types at once. So we'll go ahead and swap you... Actually, that map's fine. Whatever. Let's see. I got the AIs over here. Let me see where I have the Overlord. Alright, there's the AIs. Oh man, there's so many to go through though. Alright, I think I got them right here. So, let's see what we can do here. Let's go to our save data. We'll go ahead and just replace one of these rando teams here. And we'll see about getting your collective in here. I'm not sure if this is the right one, but we'll see. Head already destroyed? What head? See, pro tip when programming, put it on varied, it'll dodge more. Yeah, because only on accident, because it tends to move around more. But there we go. It's just the proto Exus showing everybody how it's done. Yeah, so far Etsum has definitely been the champ here. Like, it's kind of a given because she won before. All right, there's the collective. Alright, what do we got here? We got the horse, we got the hover cow, shadow cow, untouchable, and waffle face. That's not the right one. Hang on. Let's see what we can find here. Is it somewhere in here? So we got the old grasshopper. Alright, let's try this one. Yeah, I've got some oldies but goodies in here. Horse. Okay, we'll use horse. Okay. Well, horse is already deleted, so we'll go ahead and give horse a try. Let's have you fight this third one here. Why not? That's the fun thing about this. You can slot saves in and out with very few actual downsides. Even though it's probably saving so much built-up data from all this quick loading that might have an issue from that. Hopefully it doesn't crash. If it does, whatever, we'll just start it again. Dang, having some fun over there. Come on, horse! Man, look at this the horse pulling off some ACFA moves over here. He's dodging stuff there. Yeah, he's Fire Breath Horse, exactly. The problem is he kind of needs to get close. This is also one of the very early builds from back in the day. So he might not actually be able to pull stuff off as effectively as you'd hope. Especially not against this guy. Ooh, he got him with the napalm. That should be enough to at least partially disable him. And no, he's actually got good cooling, so he's already recovered out of it. That's fine. Oh man, kind of tempted to have this guy fight the grasshopper. That thing's still around. Alright. Let's see here. Now, I remember Storms having some good stuff in there. You got the Zuki. Yeah, I think that was your hover thingy. And then my old Cosmic Stormwind. Now let's put Zuki in here. That was the perma hover, if I recall. Actually, no, you're supposed to be fighting the third one. Okay, this was an attempt at the perma hover. Like, it's got all the right stuff for a perma hover if it decides to actually work. The definite if on that, though. Alright, come on. Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? I mean, he's probably gonna win it, because double bazookas, but, you know, firing out into random stuff for no apparent reason, but okay. You like his voice, huh? Wow. Never mind on the winning, he's shooting at random objects. Alright, hang on, let's see what else we got in this gold mine here. Never underestimate the power of a railgun. Yeah, but these are old busted AIs. We can't really say that it's... yeah. Well, so we got Weirdo, Shenanigans, Controller, Championship, Lynx. Oh, we still got Dragon Core Z. Okay, here we go. Let's pull this old Goldie out. Man. I was watching this video the other day because I had to post it over to the Game of Thrones Reddit. Like that, when people, like back when folks were actually looking forward to another season. Like back before friggin' Season 8 murdered it hard in the face. Ah, there we go. I had Dragon Ball Z versus Game of Thrones. Alright, what do we got here? I remember the pink shirt doing really well. So let's go make that happen. Might have an old AI? Oh yeah, no, these are like old as hell AIs. These are from a couple years ago. This is back when I was still figuring it all out. I like singing with nonsense English lyrics. Yeah, their music took some weird turns. Like, personally, my favorite was always Nexus. It's like, I love 3, I adore SL, but oh my god. Like, the music in Nexus is something else. Yeah, there we go. That's the stuff. That's the stuff right there. I love this one. I just love these ones where they're just throwing out all these different damage types all over the place. So, he's overheated, sure. But look at this. Okay, he's not going to get a chance to show it off. Dang it. I wanted to get a chance to show that off. He's got some of the best heat recovery you can ever get. Alright, whatever. Time to pull out some oldies but goldies. Do you want to go drink? Nah, let's go count 1. I'm sure he can win it. Oh, we got the old Scrub Force. Oh, we got Metal Gear! Man, their AIs are gonna suck, but I want to see it happen. Alright, let's break out the old Metal Gear team. By the way, I just want to clarify again, these are not meta builds, this isn't any serious attempts to actually win this, I just want to see these old AIs function. Vegetable? Eh, I guess. I'm also kind of convinced that if you swap out some of the files that you may potentially get some AI shenanigans. Possible. It's possible, but anyway. Yeah, count 1, definitely one of the better ones, I feel. I just want to move on to the next one in this fight here. Shocked that the AC caused so much trouble. Well, we're doing joke builds. I mean, at any point here, we could have probably pulled out this guy, we could have pulled out whatever. Because, like, count 1 is very resistant to railguns, he's resistant to stagger, he's resistant to heat. And not to mention, he's got a ton to put out himself. And it's actually less the railgun, it's more that napalm rocket. That's been the thing that shut everybody down. So like right now, he probably would have won here, but he decided to switch over to rockets for whatever reason. Because the AI is super smart pants like that. Alright, we gotta go for the Metal Gear. Gaudi would end up... Yeah, no, Gaudi wouldn't even be fair. Who are we kidding? I just want to see the Metal Gear Rex versus this. Is there splash damage through terrain? Not usually. Not usually. Um, it was definitely more prevalent in Nexus and Last Raven. For Formula Front, there really isn't splash damage on much of anything aside from grenades and large rockets. Or large missiles, rather. Why large rockets don't have any splash is anyone's guess. They should have the biggest splash damage. But, well, they were completely nerfed into the ground up until they got good in ACFA. I mean, they were kind of okay, I guess, in AC1. By the way, there's no way this guy's going to win it. No way. This guy is, once again, a joke build. He doesn't fly. If he hits him with this LX, I'm going to be surprised. Like, the reason that I kept this AI around is because he was the only one that I've been able to consistently get to use his back weapon while walking. So he's the only one that actually stops long enough to bother to use the thing. Alright, pull out your MG. There we go. That MG just wrecks so good. Yeah, this is just the Metal Gear. Put away your EO. What are you doing, AI? What are you doing? But yeah, so Mr. Javelin, I don't know how much stuff you've been messing around with here. But yeah, the AI is a total crapshoot. Sometimes it'll actually work. Sometimes it won't. Sometimes it'll just randomly run into terrain for no reason. Sometimes you'll have utterly incompetent ACs that win like crazy. Other times you'll have really well-built ones that just can't work whatsoever for utterly unexplained reasons. Let's see, Metal Gears don't have boost, so it's just like some big MTs. They actually do have boost, believe it or not. They do have boosters, especially when they come back in later games and all that. They do have boosts. His booster is disabled, but he still uses it for some reason. That's the beauty of the chips in this game. Like, I just want to point out, this guy was made as a joke. He's currently winning. That's why it's so hard to have a balanced tournament in this game. Because the AI is so bad that you can have something that's clearly better built, but then not having, have something that's utter garbage still win. In many ways, it's like, that's the question. Is it completely unbalanced, or is it just too balanced? Is Cardboard Box here? Might be. No, that's Sahelanthropus from V had some big jumps. Yeah, it's on this team. Yeah, that thing just lost to a joke build. This is the great part here. It lost to the frickin' Metal Gear. Whatever. That's why we're doing this. We gotta have fun. Actually, I remade the Sahelanthropus in this too. The utter stupidity that is this stupid thing, aka the RIP plot. We're just gonna forget that unfortunate bowel movement of a story exists. It was just the worst ending. The worst ending. Like, okay, for anyone who has not played MGS5, if you don't know why the ending to that one is so bad, this Sahelanthropus thing, it is functionally a frickin' Gundam that they have in the 70s, or like 80s or whatever by that point, right? The most advanced thing they've had in the entire series. They fight it, they beat it, they keep it in their base. A psychic child runs up, mind controls it, steals it, flies it off to New York, and it's never heard from again. Also, I will be right back. Hello! Let's continue on here. But yeah, like was mentioned there, yeah, baby mantis. That was the deal there. Also, wow, Sahelanthropus won pretty hard there. Okay, let's see, what's next then? What do we want next in here? Let's look at these AIs real quick, like. All right, okay, we got the old grasshopper. So this is one of Cow's AIs from back in the very first tournament. Now, this is easily one of my favorite things that he's put together, because basically this thing is yeah, exactly what it sounds like. It's a dang grasshopper. Also, this is the original Supplice on here. We have the lasers, if anybody remembers that whole situation. We've got the Green Witch, we've got the Mystery, and the Grasshopper. But alright, what's up, Mr. Javelin? So yeah, there's another team gone. Let's go ahead and go for 4. See what we got over here. Alright, and we'll go ahead and fight during this. And yeah, like I said earlier, there's a reason I didn't make a custom team to go through all this, because meta stuff gets weird. Ooh, alright, you look like an interestingly standard build here. So yeah, the Grasshopper is one of those ones where it's just like instant death or nothing. Alright, so we got napalms. God dang it! We gotta have a talk about banned parts there, Mr. Javelins. But yeah, so this one's quick and dirty. Very quick and dirty. Yeah, these broadsiders, as I like to call them, are ridiculous. So yeah, if you've never played this game, you probably haven't really used these arms very much, but it's literally like an 8-shot bazooka. It is some next level stupid going on with how much power they have, but they only can fire a handful of times. Like after the first few seconds, they're just gone. Give them quads. Well, you got them quads. This is your railgun quad. This is beautiful. Like this one, its AI is a bit of a crapshoot, but man, just the sheer awesomeness of a railgun quad in these games is just too good. It's like they just move and they jump and they just railgun from the air. It just feels so satisfying. I don't know why. It just feels so impactful. But yeah, so if this thing gets in close range, it's just over. So what are we dealing with here? We got looks like is that shotgun and I can't tell what's on the left arm right now. It's really hard. Yeah, I think that's alloy shoddy. So alloy shoddy and 800 mg. So pretty solid build. I kind of wish I still had Get Off My Lawn. There was this really fun build I put together a while ago. There was dual shotguns. It was alloy shoddy and the wyvern, and that combo actually works surprisingly well. So there we go. There's another one gone. This is why we didn't go for meta builds. The Grasshopper, by the way, not actually a meta build. It just happens to be really good at what it does. So it's an absolute expert at close range. It cannot deal with fast ones at all. It might get lucky, but its weakness is definitely fast ACs. But anything medium to heavy, it tends to take out pretty well. If there's enough pressure and pushback, it might usually end up getting overwhelmed because it has no defense to speak of. Ooh, inexplicably fancy dodges here. Alright, and there we go. This is why tanks are super OP in this game. Because this thing has taken the equivalent of 16 bazooka shots right now, and it's still not overheating. So yeah, very, very solid defensive setup here. Looking like we're pretty much solid on all defensive types. Sucks for mobility, but man. By the way, if you guys want to see anything, like, whether it's a mech, a person, a thing, whatever, you want to see anything remade over the course of this stream, let me know. Alright, it's still doing it. It's out of bazooka rounds, but like I said, it's it either gets it or it doesn't. There's no middle ground with this thing. So I want to see. Let's see, where the hell was Mavor's at? All right, whatever. Let's see the Rider Plash. And let's go for a little bit of a change. No, well, we're gonna stick with this map for one more round, and then we'll go somewhere else. But yeah, literally anything. I might have already remade it if it's an AC thing. If it's anything else, feel free to let me know. So we've had some pretty bizarre stuff remade before, and I can probably do so pretty quick. I got about an hour left here. Probably a little bit under that, depending on how the kiddos feel. Gonna be taking a little bit of a break to make sure that they're all good with their lunch. Okay, right applause. The hell are you doing? So like right there, we have a situation where her AI just straight up broke. So we can just go ahead and put that as a write-off. To attack, can you remake Annihilator from Master of Arena? Oh, you mean this? Hang on, let me double check which one that is. I think I know exactly. Let's see. Let's see. See, the ones that kind of got nerfed in later versions actually got redone. So yes, I have remade this before. Let's see here. Where are you at? Alright, Mass Tournament. Let's see if I can remember you. I think he was part of the awesome team. Yeah, let's see if he's already one of the teams that's loaded in right now before I go anything farther. So let's see. I think he was here. If I'm not mistaken. Apparently I'm mistaken. Yeah, there's one of my personal favorites right there, the Murder.exe. Okay, not here. Your Egg-tastrophe is here too. I don't think he's in Storms. That's the Bounty. Well, it's another AC1 build. We got the Phoenix and the Bounty from AC1 right here. Give it a couple more loads. If I don't find it, then we'll be going for something different. As in, I'll just go and remake it right now. No Annihilator here. Okay, whatever. You know what? Whatever. Let's just remake one. So, first things first, we gotta have a nice pokey head here. We gotta have that antenna. We gotta have... Don't believe we've got the double antenna head, but this thing... Let's see. The Hornet's gonna be the closest we're gonna find here. Looking core-wise, looks like we got the old Zaneta triangle. Next closest thing is probably going to be the Cronus. Let's see, arm-wise, we got big old blockies. So let's go ahead and probably go... Let's see, that'd be a starting choice, but I'd like something a little bit different. I'd say probably the Loris would be the closest. We need those big shoulder pads, though. What do we got shoulder pad-wise here? Let's go check out our mediums. Yeah, I think Lemur's going to give us our nice shoulder pad look. We got the kind of Megatron legs, so let's go ahead and go mediums on this. Got some serious builds? Yeah, I've got a ton, man. Like I said, I've got 200 plus, so there's a good number of them. I think these are pretty close. Probably going to be better than these ones. These would be visually closer. They're a bit better on weight, though, so we'll go ahead and go for that. Next up, booster-wise, let's see, what's he got? VR33, which one are you? Maintains the top class to achieve good efficiency. Well, that to me sounds like a birdie too. Or a gull, maybe. I don't want to go too heavy on the heat, because these mediums tend to go pretty iffy on that, especially if he's running an energy build here. We'll stick with the Volute. Generally a pretty solid one there. Probably go for the G97 here. Actually, no, we're going to go Usasama on him because he's a Sawa build, so we'll go for that. Probably leave the Moroccan. Pretty solid there. Nothing on the inside, nothing on the extensions. Leave those blank. On the back right, looks like we got verticals, so we actually got the same verticals here. So we can go ahead and slap them suckers on there. Where you have verticals. Actually, we'll stick the Ampusa, that's probably the closest here. Then we've got a, looks like a tri-cannon. Now, visually speaking, let's see, did the tri-cannon make it to this game? I don't think it did. So the Grayon is probably going to be the closest we got there. I'm tempted to swap him out for rockets, though, just so he actually uses it. So we might go Sphinx, just so we keep that same triple theme. We might also go for this. Hang on, what kind of strength are we looking at for the back L here? What kind of power did they run in for AC1? Okay, attack power 3000. Yeah, we're definitely talking heavy rockets then. So let's go heavies on that. 3200. He's going to get a little bit of an upgrade, but that's fine. Got the old Sawa over on this arm, but we're talking about Sawa, like old gen Sawa, so we're probably going to want to go Shade 2 then. Probably the Spirit. Gonna be a bit closer to the first gen Sawa. And then we want him to use the Moonlight, but unfortunately this thing is going to have some pretty crazy issues, so we're probably going to go Dagger Blade, just to make sure that he has similar power, but we want to make sure that he doesn't train himself. Optional parts, go for Defense, definitely go for Generator. Reduce missile lock time, yes, because he's running verticals. Lock size, not going to matter too much. Turning ability, very yes, that's basically necessary. Increases energy attack power. Firing consumption needs 4. We're missing 1 slot, so we'll go ahead and sacrifice some energy defense then, make that happen. So let's go ahead and do that. 4 slots. Okay, there we go. General loadout is done. Let's go for his color scheme here. Hi there, Sunniff. How's it going? We are remaking the Annihilator from Master of Arena right now. So let's go for a sample color first of all, just to get some similar. These are probably all going to be pretty well off. This is the closest. Alright, so first of all, general. Yeah, let's go for custom color here for our base color. We're going to want a kind of dark bluish. So go ahead and go for some like this. We want a grayish bluish. Yeah, that looks about right. It's gonna be a little bit off, but darken him up a little bit. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit darker than the original, but okay. General scheme looks alright. For details, we're gonna want to go black, because that looks more like his thing. See what the art does, though. Hang on. For the art, it looks like he's got red going on there, so we're gonna leave it a little bit red. There we go. Nice. That's crimson going on there. As far as his weapon, actually I'm probably going to switch him over to that Shade 2 there. It's going to look a little bit more like the Gen 1 Sawa, because it's got that nice little sleekness to it. Yeah, I've got the wiki page up right now. Yeah, see, like, if we're looking at the art, this looks so much like the Gen 1 Sawa, it's not even funny. So yeah, we'll go ahead and pop that sucker on there. It's going to sacrifice some attack power, but we've already got his upgraded reload speed. Now, weapon-wise, we're going to have to change the colors to silver. So, general, there we go. And there we go. We got, actually, arm L, that's going to have to be a bluish. And or black. Yeah, we're going to go black, because that's to match his arm. Can't really stick out, so that's pretty close. For AI, let's see. What kind of AI did he fight with? Can be seen, yada yada yada. Kneels to fire its cannons by not needing to. Often mistaken for black. Alright, and then we can go ahead and have him fight 9-Ball real quick. Actually, let's give him a different AI. I love the designs Gen 1. Yeah, they're pretty awesome. Alright, so for AI, we're probably going to go for a pretty standard AI. Probably wants to go, yeah, high variance, high that. Probably go a little bit less on the jump. No running, highly aggressive. He wants to stick to long range, but he'll settle for other things. Probably go more for attack, go a little bit more for enemy. That should give him a little bit better tracking. Typically, you want to make sure to have your low bars maxed out. And then operations, we want none. Don't remember if this build had anything, so yeah, we should be fine. And as a test, we'll go ahead and have him fight 9-Ball. What is Mr. Munchie Man doing? Okay, he's not in here. I mean, we can always have him fight the Aether Master. Let's see. Was it Murky Waters? Man, I can't remember. We got Lucifer here. We got the Clover Knight. We got the Silhouette. We got the AC5 intro AC. Or actually, the Verdict Day main character AC, even though it makes no sense. He might be in War Hippie, actually. Dang it, it's everywhere but where I think it is, isn't it? Oh, and the Grasshopper's been there the whole time. How about that? Yeah, Pathetic, Scareners, Storms, Awesome. He might be an Awesome, maybe? My names were not terribly descriptive. Whatever, we're gonna have him fight the Phantasma as a test. Or the Vixen, rather. AKA the, one of the mascots from AC Phantasma. Now let's see how he does. Alright, he's alright. As far as... yeah, his energy's decent. Actually, I'm definitely preferring this rifle over the other one. The Spirit probably would have drained too much. He's going for his cannon, even though he... yeah, there we go. So that would normally be his laser cannon, but he's doing roughly equivalent damage through shell. I mean, it's a trade you gotta make, but it basically allows you to have some of those weirder builds. Hopefully they have an option for turning Human Plus on and off if they do a remake. It's really awkward how they handled it. I feel like, realistically, the way that it should work is you just, like, you can use it at any point, but you have to, like, pay money to Murakuma or something. It's like, you basically can never get an S rank because it automatically takes half your pay or something. I think that would be a good way to balance it. Plus, it would make sense in universe because they probably own you for life at that point. Yeah, there we go. He's doing okay. He doesn't like his missiles very much, but that's fine. Going for those aerial blades. Ooh, takes a nice little Vixen slash there. Like Dame Next Machina, you can purchase it and take it on and off whenever. Yeah, I hope that those actually... they mentioned that it visually affects your character, and I hope that winds up a thing where, like, if you go way down the dark side of that whole thing, you just wind up completely jacked up. I hope that's what happens. Alright, one last test here. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be on Freedom? No. I have my old Caffeinator here, though. See how it does against that. This was one of my 2 entries into the 200 AC tournament. It's just my old, kind of like personal favorite AC. Just MG, Micro Missiles, Blade. Like, everyone's got the old Generico, you know? Everyone has this kind of variant of an AC that's always like Blade, main gun, missiles, something else. And then the character dies or maybe has some kind of effect in battle. Yeah, like, that's the thing. They could have done so much more awesome stuff with the series. The setting in general has so much stuff that they could have done with it. Like, what they need to do is get a proper sci-fi writer on board. Like, they've got GRRM for their latest one. They can get authors on board now, so... I mean, get some sci-fi writers on board, man. I'm sure they can come up with some really crazy stuff. Alright, can't hit Jack with that 1000 MG, as per usual. But yeah, like, one of those toxic situations I was talking about from over a year ago now. There was a guy, I kid you not, had this same old generic AC that frickin' everybody has. And then they had, like, he's like, oh man, I've perfectly tuned it for every possible situation, and then it loses repeatedly to a bunch of stuff. And he insists that everybody's running some kind of bias against him. Man, what the hell? Shut up, nobody's got any bias against you. The AI's dumb, your thing lost, it happens. Just find the hangar stage, lots of thrills. Have you ever seen the Goomba Stomp? I don't know how long you've been doing this, but man. The frickin' Goomba Stomp, though. Alright, let's go for Team 7. I forgot what team we're on. We're just gonna go mess with some stuff. Alright, you wanna see some hangar? Let's go see some hangar. We might get lucky and see the Goomba Stomp. Let two of my AIs face off. You got it. We'll go ahead and do that after this. Yeah, him. He who shall not be named. That crap was disgusting. But yeah, so Mr. Javelin, if you've never seen the Goomba Stomp glitch on this map, if one AI lands on top of another one, the distance, if they're typically, I believe it's under most circumstances, if they land on top of one another, only on this map, there's a chance that they will try to boost up and the other one will try to boost up at the same time. It'll launch one of them beneath the floor out of the stage. It's great. Alright, so there we go. Oh man, I like this quad. This thing's cool. The Annihilator's doing a good job. He's keeping up here. Come on, go for that blade. You know you want to. Yeah, that was the reason why Cow's making that face is because this is the guy that I was talking about. I kid you not, tried to ban him from the Discord because he basically used his he prevented anyone else from having their AC or emblem or whatever else on the Discord. God only knows why he was given admin rights, but whatever. So he prevented anyone else from having their information on the Discord, but he had his AC as the only AC picture allowed, his emblem on there, and then like basically Cow was talking about parry builds, and so he had an AC plus a knife, and he just went completely nuts. I kid you not, like that was the moment that killed growth on that one. It's dead now. Because he completely lost it. He tried to ban Cow, he tried to ban anyone that defended him, insisting that this was a personal threat on his life and everything else. It's like, dude, we're talking about parry builds. It's a knife emoji and an AC. That's... How else are you gonna do, like, parry builds and frickin' emojis, man? Like, that dude was not right in the head. Let's just put it that way. Anyway. So, let's have two of those AIs face off. So, totally random ones here, because I can't tell what's what. Let's have 4-4 versus, let's say, 5-5. Those are ones that match. So there we go. And we'll go ahead and go for the hanger, see if we get that Goomba Stomp. I think my kiddos are about ready for lunch, so we might be wrapping up pretty soon here. Sounds like they're still playing for the moment. Alright, looks like we got a guy that looks like the distant cousin of Surfire and I guess some kind of cross between Diligent and Red Eye. It's like yeah, Diligent and Red Eye's adoptive kid. There we go. Let's make that new headcanon. Like, honestly, one of my favorite things about 3rd Gen was just, like, when they actually went into the weird backstories behind the characters. Except up until they got voice acting. Like, honestly, Last Raven had some of the most cringeworthy dialogue I've ever seen, but, still though, it was cool to see everybody's stories and struggles and see all, like utter nobody characters and everything. They just needed to stop before the dialogue. You know? Like, whoever they have writing the dialogue, just get rid of that guy, have somebody else do it. But whoever wrote all the backstories, there we go. Just keep them in charge. And yeah, it's looking like Surfire's cousin's going to potentially win this. Because yeah, the bazooka arms are... Oh, the bazooka arms are actually doing pretty alright so far. They're being really conservative with their shots. No, Surfire's cousin! So I'm scary. Yeah. God, I love how messed up this music is. Makes so little sense. It's beautiful. This is just beautiful, man. Alright. What do we got for sidelines? Who's over here on the sidelines? Clayson, there we go. He's one of those ones I was just talking about. One of those weird side stories. He kind of looks like he's a potato that's about to go off, but whatever. Let's go for whatever this is. and go ahead and have them fight in the snow, I think. There we go. Yeah, FA had some bizarre music. I wish they'd kept the Nexus stuff going. Just the OST is so strong on that one. Just so strong. Like, especially Artificial Sky Tribal. Just mwah, beautiful. It's like a remix of one of my favorite themes of the series. Then they made it even better. They made it all sad and it matched the level perfectly. And I gotta be right back because something's going on back there, so one second. Yeah, Mr. Cow, every community had one. That kind of guy is always what killed them. Plain and simple. Right, looks like the situation dissolved. Looks like the situation resolved itself before I could even do anything. Frank was the first one. Oh yeah. So I wish I would have noticed this thing with the chat earlier. Slightly missized. But yeah, there were all sorts of nifty folks coming out of there. Alright, what else do we got under Phallic Rex here? Let's get the Black Dragon also from, I believe he was the head of the, head of the arena in Phantasma, I want to say. So go ahead and get him going here. What kind of guy? Connection hiccups? Basically, we were discussing some of the old toxicity that killed off some, like, scores and scores of AC communities back in the day. And it's just, there was always that one guy that shows up, is like, I've made the best AC ever, and it's just like some generic thing, and anybody that ever questions that guy gets thoroughly, yelled at or banned or whatever else. And for some reason, so many of them were given positions that they never should have gotten just because they were around for a longer time. Like, in many cases, I assume it must have been some kind of mental illness or something like it, especially in Akami's case there. It was a situation where they used to do a bunch of good content and everything else, and then they literally made a cult to themselves. I kid you not, they legit had a cult, and it's just there was always one in every community, it seemed. Like, just people always came up, insisted that, like, they made the best things ever, they knew everything, they're like, everything they say is completely unquestionable, and then they just try to go full dictator. Like, they knew, they've been around for the longest time, they knew all the stuff. They're unquestionable, completely infallible, just everything is just them all the time. And in the previous case that I mentioned, they would regularly start breaking down into fits and insist that everybody like, the entire Discord apologize to them for stuff that literally never even happens. Like, crap was strange, man. So, needless to say, that whole policy where folks that had been around the longest were usually given control over Discords and stuff like that, it backfired real bad. A lot of communities ran into that same personality type. I don't know why, because I've never seen that happen to a community before, regardless of how toxic it is. It was just... It really sucked to see. Like, it was just real sad, because there were a lot of folks that did a lot of good things. None of it mattered. No amount of effort that anybody else put forward mattered, because they would just come in, crap all over it, and then leave and insist that it was everybody else's fault. And then they would migrate over to another one, do the same crap there, and then just... I mean, they would scare off new folks, kill growth on the spot. Like, it just sucked. Plain and simple. It's the kind of stuff that kept happening over and over, and I hope it's dead now. I hope all of them have moved on to go ruin something else. Because it was like a disease that would not die. See, I like to encourage people to use whatever they like and feel like using. Yeah, I mean, it's weird because this all that kept this series from kind of for lack of a better term, reaching its potential and whatever else, is they needed a rallying point. And the problem was, like I said earlier, all the PvP folks want to go for the newest game. Everybody else picks whatever game they like the most, and okay, that's all well and good, but they have no central rallying point. Every single one of them was like, oh, I love this mechanic. Somebody else would come in, no, they did it better over here, or I didn't like this thing, or they ruined this one thing though, and then it always just went downhill from there, and again. So it's a very unique situation. I can't say I've seen that with any other series. I mean, I kid you not. I'm one of the folks that promotes Tactics Ogre all the time. One of the folks that helped pull that out of relative obscurity over the course of the last year. And granted, that was 90% pan, but I feel like I participated anyway. So you're responsible for nuking a few communities because it was full of arrogant scrubs in an echo chamber? Yeah, that was the thing, and that's why it only ever takes one. It's like that one shows up, ruins it, and then it's just off to the races with all kinds of horribleness from there. But just point being, let's say Tactics over there, right? There was a similar thing where they had Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Ogre. Those two inexplicably fought because of reasons that, made little sense, all things considered. It was the same people that made both games. They were supposed to be the same series originally, and ultimately there was enough positivity that it finally just became a thing where now they just get along and everything's fine. I think that just kind of naturally happened as Ogre Battle and Tactics Ogre got its own thing, but my point being is I've never seen the bizarre level of out-of-nowhere toxicity that comes from AC games. From the communities, I mean. It's... I can only theorize that level, that lack of a central rally point, because if they make a remake, presumably that would make enough people happy to bring enough of the community together to legitimately just say, hey, look, here's our thing, we like this thing, let's not fight. If there's the option to adjust all the rules and whatever else, to switch between different generations while keeping, certain other things, maybe that might help even more. It's just, yeah. Maybe others have other theories. I'd love to hear if others have other theories as to what's caused it. But it's hard to say for sure. I know I was there when I think it was 4 different Discords in a row. Just that we're the main Discord, everything seemed all well and positive, and then just overnight died. Just because everything just went completely to crap in no time at all. In one case, I kid you not, somebody spammed so much furry porn that it died overnight. Where did that come from? Apparently somebody had a... Okay. From what I heard down the grapevine, because I only saw when it was going completely nuts, and, didn't want to see past that. From what I heard down the grapevine there, it was basically a situation where 2 people got involved in a gen war type situation. Then a bunch of others came in and started voicing their views. For some reason, yeah, somebody just started posting so much furry porn that it was ridiculous, which apparently caused somebody else to go report it to something else, which then caused it to get completely banned, and then it was just gone. The next day it was just completely deleted off the internet, and that was it. Then it started up again, and at that point they just became exclusively Gen 5, and that was kind of about it. Now it's mostly just Gen 5 and names, which, meh. Not for me, I'm sure it's for some. But yeah, and then the Raven's Nest was, well, it still is. It's there for kind of the earlier gen folks, and or just generally accepting folks. As far as I've seen, there hasn't really been negativity there. There have been a few ups and downs as far as memes and stuff go. I know that a couple folks got a little bit mad that I was leading some of the things off there. Which, yeah, ultimately backed off of that, but it's just, I really hope that in the time since, nothing bad's happened there. I just haven't really been part of the AC community in a little bit. Everyone's, I think a lot of the community members got burned out at around the same time. But who knows, maybe this remake discussion that's been coming out might bring more back into the fold, as it were. It is what it is, We'll see how it goes. There's really no way to say for sure. There just definitely needs to be a lot less naysaying, I feel. See, Frank actively stalked me and used alt accounts to yeah. That's what I mean. Like, the ones that were there were dedicatedly awful people. So, what can you do, you know? If we get a central rally point, if we get a new game of some description, it's the only way the community's coming together as far as I see it. But would be very glad to be proven wrong. I think the closest that we've come to a big cohesive community has been TBM. I'm not counting Facebook because that's largely just people post whatever on there. Alright, let's get Warhead on here, I think. I think we'll give it a couple fights and then we'll call it for today. As I do have other stuff to get done. Gotta get my work done, gotta make sure the kiddos have their lunch, all that kind of thing. But it's been great to see so many folks come in here. And by the way, I apologize for adding everyone on there. I just figured, you know, haven't been on there for absolutely ages, so it's probably worth doing. Actually, before we end it though, I gotta show off this some of these old ridiculously meta builds. Gotta find them here. So let's see here. What can we find? I know Scrub Force was one of them, so that was one of Doctor's. Let's see. Solo, Megas, Panmas, Warlord. Warlord, there we go. There's one of the old broken metas. Let's see how he does. I don't know if this is rebalanced Warlord or not, but I suppose we'll find out. Find out real good. This isn't the one I wanted. What the hell? Where's the Megas? I'm supposed to be this one. Oh, crap. Well, we've got the old Siege Hunter. This is one of the first AIs that I ever put together on this. Huh, alright. Let's go ahead and go against Javelin 3 here. The music just died. I mean, it wouldn't be an AC stream without the music dying, of course. Such is life. Now, is it just loading? Video pause, keep watching. Yes. Stop being weird, YouTube. Keep playing that music. They're a shooter, a drastic baby. What the hell kind of music? Alright, so this is Cow's old build. It's one that he had Buster put together for one of his things as well. Basically, it's Exceed orbits and rockets exclusively, with missile extensions to fire alongside it. It typically tends to do pretty well. There was an upgraded version later that used napalm rockets. This one I believe is the rebalanced version without the napalms. Hi there, Parent. Thanks for that lurkage. Yeah, we'll be wrapping up pretty soonish, but yeah, we're kind of discussing the potential Armored Core remake that's being kind of potentially announced here. Yeah, this thing just got set on freaking fire. Yeah, let's see what else we got here. Ton of other stuff here. CAI saves too. We got Ripper, Tomato, Wasted Lead. Yeah, let's see what Championship has. I think that might have the cardboard box. Love to see that participating in this. Yes, replace files and destination, please. And no replay, no retry. Suffering happened. Right, let's see what's in Championship here. There we go. That's the one with the Megas. The Megas XLR, another one of Cow's builds. Yeah, Cow participated in a lot of tournaments, so let's see how that does against Javelin 6 here. Again, just picking him at random, for the hell of it. It seems my daughter has gotten a hold of a flute back there. I'm not sure if that's coming through, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, I'm feeling weirdly energetic for being on a dang protein shake diet. Definitely don't feel like lifting anything. Feel a lot less strong than usual, but eh. Such is life! Anyway. Man, the Megas is just so on point, though. Just look how good this is. Look how good his Megas is. Alright, I don't know if it's going to win anything, but you know, so far it's definitely taking hits like an absolute champ. Like, so far none of these shots have done anything. He's using the light grenade launcher, so he's not getting too much. That one's primarily what I like to call a hollow point variant. He's going to be getting a lot of heat damage, a lot of potential damage if there's low shell defense, but if there's high shell defense, that thing just plinks. One good thing he's good at, getting hit. This is true. This is true. But, well, that and apparently does pretty well at bars. Apparently chicks dig giant robots, or whatever that line is. I love the logic of that show. That's one of those ones that I hope they don't come back and ruin. Or rather, they don't bring back and ruin. So for anyone that never watched Megas XLR back in the day, the logic is literally there's like a time-traveling super soldier or whatever, and her giant mech, and she goes to the wrong gear and crashes it, and the head gets blown off. And so this random mechanic guy just finds, he's like, well, I guess I'll just go ahead and fix this. So he takes the mech, installs a sports car instead of its head, and installs like a PlayStation controller for the actual controls on it, so she can't use it anymore. So it's yeah, that got real close. What was that? Yeah, 19. Wait, that was not as close as I thought it was. Never mind. Oh well. But yeah, it's a joke build, but you gotta agree that one's looking really close to the original. What else we got here? Murky Waters. Let's get some more Murky Waters in here. Got the Cobra. Let's get the Silhouette. We haven't seen much from the Silhouette here. And let's do Javelin 7 this time. I'm at least glad to say we've won more than we've lost. And I think for a change of scenery, let's go for the parking garage. Sure. As per usual, why not? Always gotta have the why nots on there. Love how there's a second discussion going on in the Discord talking about the muffled flute in the distance. You know, you can't come off the Discord and come to the chat here. It's not gonna bite. Although it does beat that one time where I put up a thing for a stream and everybody starts having the chat in the actual Reddit post rather than coming into the chat. Just remember, need to remake Necron from PB in Last Raven. I mean, I got a potential remake in this one for you. Already, actually, we had Necron earlier in the Black Dragon. See, it's ironic. Only the joke builds are better ACs. It's more just anything can go anyway in this game. Like you can have. I was saying this earlier, but you can have competent builds that can't accomplish anything. You can have utterly incompetent ones that can't do jacks. Other times it'll just be the map. Like right here, it's the parking garage. The Silhouette absolutely owns in the parking garage, but sucks everywhere else. It's really difficult to have a balanced fight in this game if you're not using the original 5v5 format. And unfortunately, the 5v5 does not work too well, or doesn't work at all. Let's see, we got some of these old builds here. Let's go ahead and stick the messy finish in here. Like this is a great example of it either works amazingly or it doesn't work at all. Let's say 4x this time around. Let's put whatever number 5 is and get the scrap going. Like this guy will either dominate within the next few seconds here, or he will die running into a wall until he's toast. An MOA made a tank with plasma cannons, and plasma cannons. Well, I mean that's the Gen 1, Gen 2 situation. Gotta have all them plasmas. It's like this right here. If it's got decent heat defense, it will withstand this like nothing. If he gets close and actually switches firing modes like he did right there, it is an instant overheat, and his generator might as well just not exist at that point. But unfortunately, it looks like he's got really good cooling, so he survived that much. He hasn't switched firing modes. He's almost out of shots. He's pretty low here, but still has a potential chance to come back. Like, the messy finish is a weird one. That was the name, that was why it was named like it was named, because it's just like, it's like quick and dirty or not at all. It's such a weird build. Let's see. Everyone would be killed in a few hits. That's how it goes. I mean, have you seen speedruns of AC2? It's just like slap on plasma cannons, turn off your limiter, and go absolutely berserk for a few seconds for every single mission. I guess not every single mission. There we go. We'll go ahead and call it. Technically, the messy finish should have won that. It's only because I technically canceled out of it. Alright, so let's go ahead and go for something else here. What else we got? What's on apathetic here? Oh, the Valkyrie. Oh, God. Speaking of a commie there, it's like the sheer amount of comments of, oh, God, Valkyrie totally would have won it. Dude had a crush on Valkyrie. I don't know. Just... Anyway. So, moving on here. Yeah, the Apathy, which did better than should have. I have Japanese friends who runs most of the AC games. It's a real fun... Well, it depends on what category. Like, just any percent whatever is kind of iffy. Just because you typically run in, quit a mission, and that's it. But if you're going for, like, no quit percent or something like that, it's definitely really fun. Like, AC3 no quit percent. Had a whole lot of fun running that. I believe I thought I got close to the world record at one point, and then it turns out my timer was off, so it kind of felt like an idiot. Because I thought I got it, and then no. So he has the world record in Nexus 90%. True. I think Nexus has more missions you technically can't afford to fail, if I recall. Because the plots and overall route changes if you fail those. Wonder who has the record in 2? Well, there's one way to find out. And its Faces, Speedrun Archives. Or speedrun.com, you know. Either or. Yeah, it took the napalm. They're already dead. This is why napalm rockets are always banned, because that mess is cheap. You can go ahead and just speed forward through this as they slowly die. Oh, you have the record. Nice. Well, how about that? We got a couple speedrunners in here. How about that, nifty fancies? There you go, Mr. Cow. You have met your competition. You know your enemy. I know that ProCow technically holds the weird record of most amount of money ever earned in a single mission in the series. And he held the AC3 record for a bit. Wait, no, I do? Wait, Cow, you hold the record? Wait. Yeah, by the way, I have no idea why I'm having Valkyrie fight this one, but whatever, it's amusing, right? It's amusing. So whenever this one comes out as a video or whatever else, you know, if folks do want to see anything rebuilt, you know, go ahead and let me know. Because again, I'd love to do more AC stuff. Right now I have 2 runs going that I want to finish up. X Division is probably going to take me a little while, but the monster run of FFT is roughly 3/4 of the way there. I'm probably not doing Deep Dungeon on that one, so it's probably going to be a little bit faster. I'd love to get back to doing more AC stuff. Maybe just mix it in once a week or something. If anyone here has watched the Blenderizers, plan to do that, because I got very close to actually beating the Blenderizer the very last time that I tried it. So I think it is possible. And by the way, as far as while we're discussing who holds records for what, I can't really say I hold a record, but I do hold a bunch of completed challenge runs. I want to talk about speed for you. This guy sounds like the world's most awkward drug dealer. He wants to talk about speed for you. It'll be $4.99 per drugs. I don't know what the prices are. I feel like if it was that cheap, they probably would be winning the entire market. So that's not going to be enough to put most people broke. Exactly. So these are ones that I believe Voctor put together. Basically a bunch of Gen 5 builds. Or Gen 4 builds, what am I saying? It's called I'm doing a little bit of dumb right now. What else? I think I want to have, for the last fight here, I think we're going to have Adieu fight something. So, Mr. Javelin, tell me, which one does Mr. Adieu have to fight here? Which one does he have to try to beat? Give me an AC, and he will fight it. But yeah. So, the Blenderizer, by the way, for folks that haven't seen it, the general idea is 3 parts are randomized from the AC. There's basically 5 ACs given. The idea is to beat all missions, all arena fights, in a completely random order. After every single mission and arena fight, 3 parts of the AC are randomly randomized into literally anything. And basically, it's arms, weapons, and insides that are set in separate categories, so that we're not seeing the same thing randomized several times in a row. And then basically this weird janky thing is taken over and over. Like I said, 5 lives, just going down the list of the 5 ACs. And then, so far, I got really close. Last time, I was only a few arena fights away. I believe I had the final mission and I want to say escort transport left as far as the missions, and I think like 5 arena fights left. And then just ran into an awkward thing where I ended up losing the last 3 to Kaiser because all of them kept rolling overweight. And I kept trying to go for the out-of-bounds trick, but it didn't quite work. And the timing, well, I finally got it to work on the very last one, and I think... When did that die to? That died to Barchetta or something, because I had an AC that couldn't even move and had, like, the starting rifle or something. It was something along those lines, but either way, I'd love to finally complete that one. Mr. Javelin, 30 seconds, pick an AC, or I will pick one for you. Go for one last one. I don't know if there's any particular one that stands out as being crazy difficult, because Adieu has been inexplicably able to beat stuff he never should be able to touch. And then currently he's just being sold all the drugs. Alright, we gotta switch to a different song here. Meh. There we go. There we go. I believe this is the AC2 intro. Or at least one of the AC2 maps. No, it isn't. It's a remix of Shining. Anyone? Okay, well that's decisive. Let's go 4X. It's got an X in there, therefore you know it's extra good. Let's go for the third one, and let's go fight in a friggin' field or some crap. There we go. Let's do this thing. But yeah, I think after TBM does his tournament, I might do my crazy tournament. See, my time is after, so I would respond late. Well, fine. Maybe you just respond late then. Jeez. But yeah, I'm already seeing linear rifle. He should be resistant to that. Or no, that's a Sawa. Whoops. Never mind. I just saw the general Sawa shape. Yeah, actually, he is really weak to the Sawa. Actually, it's a hover. He's weak to hovers, he's weak to Sawa, so this was not a good pick. Although that guy does seem to be low on energy at the moment, and or switching missiles, so okay, fair enough. Shouldn't have been low on energy. If he gets close with the blade, he might be onto something. So he took the records from Raven's Superfleet and 2 others. Okay, I do hold the record for one thing, which is beating all of 3rd gen with only rockets, only using the same janky build. And currently, I have not seen Superfleet beat Demon or 2448. I was actually really annoyed because I was doing the entirety of Last Raven. I finally got up to Ultimate Zenata, and then the freaking day of, she puts out a video. It's like, hey, look, here's Ultimate Zenata with rockets. I'm like, for God's sake, I was working up to this for months. Was legitimately upset about that one. But either way, I did all of Last Raven and the 3 hardest ACs with rockets. I figured that was the only thing worth proving, because everything else was just a matter of frustration, not really anything skill-wise. And then Cow came in, and like Cow beat Demon like it's absolutely nothing, so he's still better. So he beaten Zenata and Portable with blade arms only. That'll do it too. That'll do it too. Oh yeah, and technically he beat all of Javelin's AIs with a rocket build as well. So rocket only is probably one of my favorite challenges for this series. And then after that, it was kind of just meh. Let's see. She pissed me off for a whole week. Did she get the blade arm things first? See, here's how I like to think about Superfleet. She is functionally the Simpsons of Armored Core challenge runs. As soon as you think you've just done a challenge run, she's already done it. That's how that works. And now as a trophy, I have her as wallpaper. Alrighty then. Let's say Supplice versus Adieu. Why not? We'll just go ahead and wrap it up with that. And then I gotta get going. Come on, Adieu. The only one to Blade only Last Raven. Yeah, that... I can't imagine how many attempts that must have taken. Because just Last Raven's one of those ones that's super frustrating to do runs of. By the way, I will say, for anyone that wants to do a rocket only at Last Raven, bear in mind that there's some hitbox jank. They redid the hitboxes when it came to Last Raven, and on the portable version, Blade only Dark Souls. I mean, I Spear only did anyway. Okay. So here's the thing, it has hitbox jank, so rockets will fly straight through elbows and heads. So yeah, like you have entire areas that you can't hit. Sometimes rockets just won't count if they do hit. Like, it's bizarre how many weird technical issues they have on it. So would recommend if you are doing like a casual rocket only run, just do the PSU version. I couldn't even tell you how many attempts it took. Like, even during the last attempt at Damon, I specifically stopped and pointed out several moments where there were rockets flying straight through limbs. So he thought it was impossible at one point and didn't finish the series of attempts. Oh. Yeah, there's one run that a lot of folks have requested me to do, which was a throwing rock only run of Tactics Ogre. So I still promise to do that at some point. Because I will say, I'm pretty okay at Armored Core. I'm dang good at Tactics Ogre, but... Alright, anyway, so we'll go ahead and leave it there for now. So thank you guys for all stopping by. Great to see that there's still folks over there chatting about this thing. Hopefully we'll get to see that remake. You know, one can dream. One can dream. So you guys have a fantastic one. Take care. And, you know, hopefully look forward to doing another one of these next week. Take care.